How do you want to do this? What would you like to offer to your dead friend?
So I'm really waiting for drugs.
You're like
Just like the salt thing. Just give it something like spice them up real nice.
the priest is like. We roll that with advantage because that's good. Great. Roll your intimidation. You get advantage for that. Slay Storm's out. You guys reconvened after you guys had a conversation with Roger and his wife and kind of learned something, saw some interesting things. You guys reconvened outside of the Slay Storm's bounty and deliberated a little bit, and then you guys met Sam's mother, who we talked so highly. And you guys then went through this blood rite ritual to be given a quarry to follow. And it didn't turn out to be the same individual, or at least you guys suspect, as far as I know, to be the same individual who owns the mine, or at least is somewhat connected to the mine in some way. Who knows? You guys went to share this knowledge with Roger. Developed a secret code word of a raven flying off. You guys ate for a little bit and shopped with Vardak, who did actually at least send one person on a quest of some sort in order to lower the price of this artisanal bow. You guys noticed a scuffle on your way to Roger's place to tell him about, and that's when you were introduced to this Zuko-looking dark elf, wood elf mix or hybrid who seemed to be breaking up the situation. You guys kind of exchanged some words, and he seemed to convinced that he is destined to aid you in saving the world. He said. His name is Libri. You guys get there, inform him about the shape changer, and take a bath. And that's when you are informed about this gardener with the raven tattoo on his neck. You guys then leaving a owl as a sentry watching over the building. Juniper had a private conversation before leaving with Roger. And Libra took the first rest, took the first watch, saw nothing. Gumiho and Eritrea? I feel like I'm messing that up every time I say it. Eritrea. Took the second watch, and we ended the game right as the second watch came close to an end, so it's actually pretty early morning. When the owl flew into the whole window, you guys, at this moment, it's early morning. There's just a little bit of red kind of peeking up over the jade green waters of the Lopmere, and all you see is this kind of dark, shadowy silhouette of a bird in the window, and then from that silhouette emanates the words, "Yes," to you who can understand what the owl is saying. Early morning, what are you guys doing? The owl is still kind of sitting there. He's waiting for some food. It's just like,
and it's like dawn.
It's like, I would say, like, so dawn would be normally like 5 o'clock. I'd say it's probably like 4 o'clock. Okay. It's early morning. It's before dawn, but there's like, you can see the peaking little redness in the horizon.
Well, we should probably go check it out and make sure Roger's okay.
You're still sleeping.
Yeah. I figured.
You haven't been woken up. You do get your full rest though.
Okay.
So it's just me and you that are awake.
Yeah, he is sleeping. He's like.
We can just go like quietly observe what's going on.
Oh wait, we can take it.
We can go as animals. Cute. And be extra inconspicuous or whatever. Yeah.
The owl kind of like cocks his head, like does that thing that owls do. They're like, he's looking at you, and he's just like, you just hear like, yes, right, food. And he's like clicking his beak at you. He's waiting for food. You guys promised him food.
Oh, that's right.
Do I have any?
I have
I mean, you probably have some like adventurer's rations, I'm sure.
I'll just give him a little bit I have.
A little bit of bread or something.
Yeah.
He
Good
snatches
boy.
it and like
Thank you.
flies away. Immediately.
So let's go up.
I would say I turned into that spider, but that's a giant spider.
Oh my
It would
God.
it would take up a large portion of the cabin. If you turn it.
I wasn't sure.
You guys are, yeah. You guys are, you're in the hammock and you're like kind of like sitting on the floor, floating off the floor a little bit, just like. They kind of shake you guys awake a little bit, and you guys look around and same thing. It's like dark 30. It's really early morning. You do see like you guys catch the last little bit of the owls flying in and snatch the food out of their hand, and see a little bit of red dawn kind of just barely poking out of the horizon there a little bit.
Alright, so my owl friend came back
Good.
and said that there was a threat. So we can go and check and see if Roger's alright. Do we all want to go, or just have a couple of us go?
Is there anything we can do while you go check it out? Or one group checks it out?
We could probably go around the perimeter. Me and you, since we have the more fighting techniques.
Sounds like a plan.
Wait.
I was talking about like if you were to go. Did you mean like go in groups? Like,
Yeah, like we could.
well, I don't know.
Have,
What,
like, two
is there
people
anything
go?
else that we could do that's
You know, more
Like,
helpful. Like, so like we all don't waste our time going.
Oh, sure.
to check on it.
Some of us can go check out the
town.
Oh,
farm.
look for
farm
the
area.
look for the guy with the
It
razor
would be in
tattoo.
the same way. I'll show you guys the.
Yeah, we can go look for the guy with the razor tattoo.
I think there should be
You guys
one
want this
range
little
fighter
dot
and one
here?
close fighter together.
His house is up here,
Makes sense.
and the farm, the northern area, farm area is up right over here actually. So you guys will be kind of heading up the same way anyways, and then you just split off at his place.
Okay, let's do that.
So,
so
you
the
talk
fighters
to
go
the.
to the threat?
She said one long range and one close range fighter should be together, and then the other two should go the other way.
Yeah, because we're both long range. And we're both.
So we're close. Okay. Since you understood the owl, you should probably go check the house.
Okay.
And then where did you want to go? Or
Well,
I
if
guess
I'm
technically
going
you have to
somewhere,
go to.
So which one of you wants to go with me and which one wants to go with?
I guess just stick with you.
Okay.
As you guys are deliberating, you're sitting on the ship and you hear this like kind of sound outside the ship itself, just like actually running, but like you hear like armor kind of clicking together. And as you kind of peek your heads as you're about to go, you actually see two of the town guard running in that direction. Towards the way that you guys are going. Yes.
Oh snap.
And as you sort of walk down the gangplank, you hear this like this like crazy like in the middle of this town there is a as you guys pass by, you guys would have seen it. It's like a almost like an organ style thing without the piano part. In the middle, it's like an organ. Giant pipes, these brass pipes that kind of extend up. They're actually the tallest thing in this town. You can see them right above. You wouldn't have really known what they were before, but now as you hear this sort of steam, like this horn ringing, you hear this sort of alarm sound, and you see two guards running off in that direction. Full dash, as fast as they can go. Their heavy armor clinking around as they're going.
Are there townspeople around?
There's as that horn starts to go off, you guys start to hear rustling and lights, like candles, like flickering on, and like sort of thing and fires being lit, and then you see like townsfolk start to like wander out of their house, like look around, and some of them kind of go around to like a sort of like a on the side of their little sand huts. They have these sort of storm cellars that they're going around and they're going down into as it's slow. It's like a fire
I want to
drill.
run and ask one of them. if they
You're
know
gonna
what's
run up
going
to a commoner.
Yeah.
You approach this middle-aged human man with like a red beard, and he's just like Come on, kids, come on. And the kids are like, his kids and his wife are kind of moving towards the side of the building. He's like, yes.
What is the siren like? What's going on? Where are you going?
It's just a town emergency. I don't really know what's going on. That's a sound that says go down here to be safe. So if you guys want to join us down here, and it's, I don't know what's going on, but if you need to, we can help you as well.
We're still together as a four.
Yeah, you guys
we
walk
haven't left
down
yet.
off the ship and seeing all this start to occur. So,
What if it's a tsunami?
He said, let us know if you need our assistance. We should try to help others at the source.
oh, of course. And then he kind of he looks around and he sees kind of where you guys came from. Like the church. He's like, oh, yes, do that. And then he takes the kids down to the storm cellar.
Can I do a 360-degree view? Is it still kind of dark, or is it?
It's still it's still dark. It's gonna be dark
so I
for
can
probably
see
another
how
hour.
far, like if I can see anything, because I have 120 feet of vision.
You go ahead and roll a perception check for me.
Oh, 7. Oh wait.
7?
I think it's plus 4. Yeah, plus 4.
Okay, so it's 13. Or no, not
11.
11, sorry. They're really 13, of course. You look around and it's dark, and your vision is especially keen in the darkness, and you guys see as his eyes start to hit this sort of little red hue as he starts to look around, almost like he's got a cat with night vision sort of. And with an 11, you see more Townsguard, and you see actually along the city wall there is these these turrets each way. And you see other guards kind of walking up to the edges and pulling out these crossbow and getting them ready. And you see other guards running in that direction as
Can we
well.
talk to any guards?
They're go ahead and roll a perception check for me as well.
This one, right?
Yes.
Come on, baby.
Oh.
Oh, what is the other one?
4.
A 4, okay. As you're looking around, you're kind of paying really close attention to. You're still groggy. You just got woke up, shaking out of your meditation, and you don't see any guards running past you at the moment and to catch any of their attention. But you do still in the distance. You see the two that you initially saw, but they've ran about 400 feet by now. Just at the time that you talked to the man.
Making the turret seem serious.
Yeah, we should get running that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should probably stay together after
Yeah,
all.
I think we should all stay then.
Okay. So you guys just
Can we get to high ground?
you want to get to so his manor is you had to walk up into that upper terraced area to get to it.
Okay.
So you what's that?
Is it on a hill or something?
It's not on a hill. It's the terraced area is in the middle of the city, and it's man-made. It's set up. It's all the other buildings are made out of that adobe structure sort of stuff, and this terraced area is also made out of that, and it's just piled a little bit higher than most of the buildings, and it's a
Good enough for
greenery,
me.
sort of a Garden of Babylon kind of upper area of the city, over in the northern area of the city.
I was just want to let them know to make sure they stay.
Oh my goodness.
No. Just to make sure they stay behind us so that they
Okay.
can cover.
And stay 15 feet away. Is that what it is? Thought that was nice.
No, alright guys. Okay, get ready.
Okay, 15 feet.
But as you guys are running, you guys know the drill. Goomy House got his bow out that doesn't have a string, and he starts to spin this sort of spectral string, and the green crystal starts to glow as he's running, and he's ready to cast some spells. But you guys,
Not Thunderwood, man.
so there is a moment I will let you know that as you're running up this way towards the entrance that you guys took to the terraced area, the only way up is the staircase right here.
Okay.
So, and his house is here. As you guys pass by, you do hear some noise. You could try and climb up the terraced area to get to it faster, or you could go the normal way. But as you guys are running
You could
past it,
probably climb up there easier.
Abilities.
as you guys are running past it, you do hear this almost this like thick, roaring, hissing sound, just like this weird sound, and like you hear like the arrows just going, and like occasionally like people like yelling and screaming.
That's over where Roger lives.
Yeah, right behind his house. If you guys were to triangulate it, his house is like up on this terrace, and you guys have been there before. You know where it is, and you're hearing that sound right outside of sort of like the city wall that you can hear. Do you guys want to climb up that way, or do you want to run to the stairs to actually not
I'm
have a
better
failure?
on my feet. I can't climb.
Oh yeah, I'm climbing.
Oh, you're climbing?
Oh, I'm climbing.
Okay, all right. You guys watch this. You hear this
Okay.
noise.
I think it would be better if one of us gets a head start.
Okay.
Do it.
You guys hear this noise. And almost instinctually, Juniper's just like. It's just because you have a climb speed, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So you have no problem. She digs her claws into the adobe wall and she starts scaling this. It's about 25 feet. Did you want to drop a rope for them, or do you want to wait for them, or what do you want to do once you're up?
I
Do
want
you
to get to
there?
I want to get to the top and look and
around.
see what's
Okay, go ahead and roll a perception check for me.
Ooh.
Monsters are so beautiful.
It's just 21.
21. It's nighttime. Your cat eyes are made for this, and you kind of get to the edge of the wall, still holding on, and look around, and there is a large tree cover. Okay. And you can see just behind the trees, as you can see where the wall is, and then you can see the kind of the back left side of his house a little bit peeking through the trees as well. The area where this is happening, his house is partially obscuring where you hear the sound coming from. You do see kind of on the sort of the southern side of his house, there's some guards that are like sitting, and they're like behind trees, like taking cover, and they're kind of aiming up towards where behind his house is. And you notice, just since you rolled a really high perception, their arrows, their crossbows are like this. They're up.
So, enemy?
And you hear this voice coming out from behind the trees. You hear this like,
It's a dragon.
and you see just barely over the tip of the tree every now and then this like sort of leathery brown wing kind of come up, just the tip of this wing, just like, and you hear just like people screaming, and at one point, just in the darkness, it's really far away. It's probably about 500 feet away at this point, since his land is so large. You do see just above the trees a silhouette of this creature, which the silhouette itself is sort of like, it's got wings, it's got 4 legs, and it's sort of like, it's shaped in, it's a shape that you've never seen before, and you see hanging from its claws an individual who, as it kind of comes up above the trees, it lets go, and they're like falling down, and they hit the ground, and it kind of dives back down. It's killing some other things, tearing them apart.
Okay, I'm throwing my rope down and I'm yelling to them, guys, we got a bigger problem than we thought.
You tie it with, and you guys are down there, and you see her kind of like looking up like a cat, you know, and this rope kind of tumbles down. Are you guys gonna take the rope, or?
I'll take the rope down.
Okay. We'll say all 3 of you just roll 1 athletics check.
Oh gosh.
What's your plus?
Oh, we're having a bad time today. So they're not bad.
Plus
Athletics?
3, so I'm at 11.
Okay.
I'm at 2.
2. Oh man.
I'm at 9.
9. Okay.
I'm plus 0.
So you start to climb. You're like, and your hands gonna slip.
Plus 0.
And go ahead and roll 1 more athletics. You fall before they are able to even start.
Oh.
12.
You're like, oh man, that's really embarrassing. You like run for that, but next time you don't even like, you put your feet on the wall, like rappel upwards sort of, and run up the wall. Yeah. You're like, oh. Look around, like, oh man, I saw me. You struggle a bit, and you're like, and then Gumiho kind of comes up behind you and like pushes you, and he kind of falls up, and so you guys sort of scramble up this wall a little haphazardly, but you get up the wall.
Not as cool as Juniper.
Not quite as cool as Juniper. Juniper's pretty cool. But you guys kind of are you guys like kind of hanging outside the wall, or are you gonna go over and go into the forest?
I guess I'll go over.
good reconnaissance information from her enough to see where the enemy and the friendlies are?
Okay. Are you telling them this
Yeah,
information?
yeah, I'm gonna tell them what I saw, and that I've never seen something like it before.
You need to
And
know like
Flying.
yeah,
So-
it flies, it's got wings, it's big.
Assuming there's enemy guards and friendly guards too.
I don't think there's enemy
They're all
guards.
friendly.
He said that. Oh, okay.
I think they're all friendly
So,
guards
so you
and
guys-
just one giant thing.
One creature.
Yeah, one thing.
Would there be any
And-
guards nearby?
Roll a perception check.
Cool.
Oh,
You don't see him.
10.
You see one about a ways away.
Okay. And then I want to see if I can see the insignia on
Okay. Yeah. Well, with that perception, you wouldn't have been able
Yeah, I
to see
wouldn't.
their insignia. So the corner of his house is about here. It's pretty far away, and the action that you see is happening up here.
Okay.
But the trees kind of are thick, kind of like in this area.
And we're where?
You guys are
Right there.
at this wall right here. So let me grab you guys's.
Of the latest.
Okay, so who wants to be this one? Were you that one this time?
Yeah.
Okay. So Gumiho.
Oh wait, no, that was.
I was the lizard
that's-
guy.
That's, yeah, that's okay. That's,
So
I was a bard.
Dibs? I don't know.
There's 1, 2, 3, 4. Perfect. So we got. So who's who?
I'm the little lizard guy.
You're the little kobold. Okay.
Sorry.
No,
Mhm.
that's fine. Yeah.
I'll be here.
I'm the bard holding.
What took you guys so long?
So these are guards that you see off in the bit of ways.
Okay. I'm sorry, I'm just confused. Did we confirm that there are friendly guards and no enemy guards?
As far as you know, they're. I mean, unless if you're talking about corruption, who knows?
Okay,
if you're talking about like working for the city, they're all working for the city.
They're-
As far as you know, unless there's something attacking that you don't know about yet.
So the creature doesn't have friends for all we know.
As far as you know, so far, you only see the creature, and as you guys kind of perch up from that distance away, where you like hear this, you guys now are hearing this like this weird kind of commotion, and almost just like every now and then there's a roaring, there's speaking, and there's also this like sort of like if a
Would
scorpion.
he understand it?
What language is used?
Well, the platinum dragon has been speaking to me,
Okay.
but I don't know if that applies to all.
So, I would say, roll a religion check, then, which is on your skills there somewhere.
Oh,
Is that it?
that's a 9.
A 9, okay. Plus 0. Oh, plus 0, okay.
Oh.
You don't think. You're not entirely. I'll just say you're not entirely sure what it is. You can't hear anything. The voice is speaking in common. I'll get to what it's saying.
Can I
But
determine if it's positive or negative?
if it, what do you mean?
Like, is it speaking threatening or?
We'll get to that in just one second.
Sure.
As it's flying around, though, every night you're hearing guards just like screaming, and then like the sound of like bones popping out of sockets, just like that terrible sound that you never want to hear. And then every now and then you hear like and like the guard, as you hear that sound, this guard here that you guys see, like he's standing there, and all of a sudden he's just like, and he's got this like sort of like this protrusion from his back.
What?
Sort of like he falls, and there's like literally like his skin or his armor is like kind of bumped up on his back, like something impaled him. And
There's no
I'm
tools
scared.
inside of him.
what's that?
So there's no like tools inside of his body. It's just his body's torn.
If you went to investigate, we could go further and.
Gotcha.
Yeah, we're too far.
Yeah.
But
I
right
don't know
after
if
you,
it's worth it.
right after you hear like you hear this like terrible insect sound as it's like flying around, and
Oh my
it's and then that's when the voice starts to come through. It's just weird. It's like if you mix that sound with a human voice, and it is it's creepily human, and it's just like, where is the child? And it says, where is the child?
Odie.
In this terrible like sort of like almost reptilian, insectile voice.
We can communicate with this.
It is speaking common. It's speaking the common language of all the creatures that speak common, of course.
Probably
I
couldn't hear
have
us
an
from this portal.
idea.
Okay.
I have like right now I
And
don't
it's
have
still
much points.
chilling
but I have
over here?
persuasion.
It's over in this area. It's kind of around in this clearing.
Okay.
Maybe I could persuade the voices, like lie to them, but since I could persuade them that maybe I could help them and then lure them into a trap.
What trap?
Well, we would get them out of the trees, and we could get them to where we could see what we're dealing with.
Get them
Kinda want
15 feet away.
Yeah.
I will have you guys roll initiative at this one.
Oh,
So
no.
go ahead and roll the
Okay.
d20 and
Come
add your
on.
initiative bonus.
Let's run
Oh,
away.
that's your proficiency. Just add your dexterity.
I got a 2.
With your plus?
Oh, right.
Wait, where's my initiative? Oh, I haven't written down my
I got 3.
Just add your dexterity modifier. That's your initiative. That's
plus.
I got a 3.
I got a plus
25 to 20.
I have 17.
11.
11. So 17's the highest there. You got a 2.
3.
3. Okay, so and then who got
I got a 12.
12, and then you got what?
11.
11. Okay.
Oh dear.
Oh, yeah. I'm last.
So 12 for Jennifer. Three brides after that, and then after that is
At least Bradley's not here to break my ribs.
Oh gosh.
Or try to heal you and then fail miserably.
I haven't been in this group long enough to know inside jokes.
Where did I put my pills?
okay. All right.
Oh, jeez.
So, as we start this encounter, Eritrea, you're seeing this. You heard, "Where's the child?" In this terrible, like reptilian. It's hard to say. I want to say reptilian, but it's really not. It's like an insect.
Insect.
But it's not human.
That's the thing. It's like it sounds like a human speaking as if they were human, but they have.
Possessed or something?
Yeah. It's like
Okay.
they're possessed by an insect ghost.
Okay.
That's a good way to put it.
What's the people that they talk on Harry Potter like?
Partial
Oh,
Parcel
yeah.
tongue?
It's kind of like that.
That's
yeah.
what I imagine.
Mixed parcel tongue with like, in Men in Black when that creature's like in his body, sort of.
Oh dear.
Yeah, mix those two together and you get what you're sounding like here.
Super
Okay.
deep.
All right, Eritrea, what are you doing? You are in the trees so far, and so you can't quite see what's going on. You do see the fact that this guard is like, and his armor is like bent upwards in the back.
We're all fours.
That just does not sound good to me. We didn't
Yeah,
see what hit him.
You didn't see. You just heard like.
Yeah, we didn't move. We gotta make a move or we might lose casualties.
I don't know. Okay.
And as you guys move forward, I will move this where this clearing is.
Okay.
I'll just draw it somewhere else, and we'll play it by.
How
where you guys
far?
are.
That's really far. I can't even go there.
It's pretty far. Each square is 5 feet, so you get the sense that the action at the moment is about 5, 10, 70, maybe 100 feet away. The main action.
And yet somehow.
Now the
this
creature,
thing-
the thing is, you can get the sense from like you see wings kind of coming up. You see silhouette of like a face, not a face, but like a figure kind of like flying around. You get the sense that it's moving fast, and it's also flying with the wind.
Alright. I want. Can I inspect it as an animal?
You want to
His
inspect
body?
the body. Yeah. So
Like, if
when
I-
you guys are in your animal forms, because you're druids, you keep your intelligence stats. You keep all your mental acuity. You get the physical attributes of the animal.
I'm going to turn into that bird.
Okay. So your action
Weightless
to
bird.
turn into the axe beak.
Yeah.
You guys watch as she. Or is that what you want to do?
Yeah, because actually the speed is faster than mine.
What's the speed of the axe beak?
50.
Nice. So you guys watch as Eritrea like picks herself up, like looks, and as she's climbing over, her arm kind of comes up, and she sort of like almost anamorphs, rolls into this like almost like this like pretty large ostrich-like bird with a beak that's got this like hammerhead axe, and she's like, and so So where are you going?
I want to
And
go.
which one are you?
This
Okay. You wanted to go investigate him?
yeah,
5,
as
10, 15,
subtly
20,
as I
25,
can.
30, 35, 40. So go ahead and roll a stealth check.
Oh snap! All right. Come on, manifestation.
Natural, oh my god. Natural 20.
Oh, 18.
Nice.
What is it? Perception? Or
Stealth.
stealth?
Stealth.
Stealth. Yeah.
20. Nice. Whew.
Okay. You don't seem to have diverted any attention from anything nasty yet.
Okay.
At that point, just go ahead and roll an investigation check.
Come on. Oh, son of a biscuit.
Shouldn't be too hard of a DC, just so you know.
3.
With a 3, you kind of look. You see that there's so there's a dent in the back of his armor, and just outside of the dent, there's like a little hook kind of coming out. And you
Okay.
use your axe, you flip him over, and you see sort of like you guys know like a in Jurassic Park the Velociraptor claw.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's got that knob on the back of it. You see what's protruding out to be like a spine of some sort that has that like knob at the end.
And it's
And-
not his own.
It is not his own. It's not his own claw, but it's like coming out of his chest as you flip him over. He's just, it's right in his heart.
You want us to lobster the nail?
Alright, so that would be your turn though. With
And I have
action.
no action.
You use your action for the druid shape or the wild shape, and then you move your distance and you investigate it for a bonus action. So that'll be your turn over.
Alright.
At that point, you continue to hear this like off in that distance. You still can't quite make out. You go ahead and roll a perception check as you're kind of nearing the edge of the trees.
Oh, what did I get?
10.
10. Oh yeah, 11.
11.
But that was investigation? Or
Perception.
Oh,
Perception.
so 15.
15. Okay, better.
Oh wait, did I roll a 10? I rolled a 10. So 14.
14. Okay. You see, it's moving fast. It's going through trees. It's kind of picking people up and dropping them. You just hear every now and then, like falling from the sky, and like you actually start to see a shape. But now it's got this almost like lion-like body.
What?
With
But
these-
it's flying.
Yeah, it's flying with these huge
Oh,
wings,
okay.
and it like you see as it like if there's a guard on the other side of the clearing, you see just a silhouette as this big silhouette just like lands on him and crunches his body into the dirt, and it jumps up again, and you see its tail is kind of flickering, and like it's got like a very prehensile tail, and just you see these barbs coming off the tail as it flies up into the air and disappears from your sight again.
Okay.
That's what it sounds like.
Oh.
As it's like kind of flying around.
Gosh.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Who's
At
next?
that point, it is Juniper's turn.
Alright. I'm going to use my feline agility
Okay.
to.
Oh, double. Nice.
Yep. So I'm going to. I'm gonna head over here to these dudes.
And you can move 60 with that feline agility, right?
Yep.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. You're right there. You
Okay.
run up. Are you going to make your presence known to them? Or are you trying to stealth completely?
I'm gonna make my presence known. I wanna ask them like if they know, if they've seen what it
They're
is,
like-
or if they know what's going on.
You can like run up to them, and you're like, what do you say?
Excuse me.
They go, oh, they turn their bows on you, and
They're like, no, I'm here to help. I promise.
okay, all right. Now, one of them has like a gash on his face that's like cut open. Like we're talking like his cheek is almost hanging off. They're like, who are you?
My name's Juniper. I know Roger. What's going on here? What is this thing? Have you seen it?
No, never.
No.
No, the one who's got a cheek. He's like in full like D-Day running onto the beach in Normandy. He's just like
Sure.
like he got that, and the other one's like, calm down. And and he's like, go. And he turns. He's like, yes, I've seen one of these before. They come to the walls every now and then, but never like this. And that's all the words he's able to get out.
So can
In
I
that turn.
use the rest
Oh,
of my
I thought he
movement
died.
to climb?
Sure, yeah.
Okay.
So you kind of do like you want to climb up the building, his house, okay. So you moved
35.
35, okay, so
another
40, 45. What's your climb speed?
20.
20. Okay, so we'll have to do like a percentage sort of that. So
Okay.
20 and your normal speed is 60, so you could do 40 and then move climb speed, and you've already moved about 3/4 of your movement, so you can move 10 feet up the wall.
Okay.
So I'll check at my stands. I usually have this. I'll bring them next time, but
Okay.
you're 10 feet up the wall of his
Okay.
house. Do you want to make a perception check to see if you can get a look?
Yeah.
Okay.
17.
Nice. Okay. You climb up the wall just to the point where there's like this hole in the trees, and you actually see there's a guard out in the clearing. He's like running. He's like dodging. This like paw comes to slash at him, and at that moment, in the sunlight, or the not the sunlight, the sort of like the moon, twilight light kind of shines over his face, and it's slashed at this guy, and this face is this humanoid face. It looks like a woman.
Oh.
But her mouth is open wide, and it's got these like these terrible like grabbers kind of like coming out of its mouth, just like,
Oh my
and
gosh.
and its teeth are like almost like circular and serrated around in its mouth, and it's just like gnashing out at this guy, and he's like ah, you know, like,
Yeah.
and it's got this sort of brown body. It's like a lion body. It's got a mane that comes out like a red mane. Its fur along its back is like quilled like a porcupine almost, and its tail is like, well, it's like a scorpion tail almost, but it's got these barbs, and it kind of turns at that moment and sees some guards off that way, and its tail like flicks, and these barbs shoot off right towards those guards, and you don't know if it hit anything or not, but you do hear like a thunk, like a goop, and you do see at this moment. Roll a nature check, just why not? We'll see if you've run into something like this before, being a ranger.
Oh, that's not good. 7.
You have never seen anything like this. In fact, this is horrifying.
Oh god.
it's
Yeah,
it's
it is.
Pinscher's mouth is like.
Alright,
Alright.
guys.
At that point, it is Librai's turn. What are you doing?
Well,
So-
before, I kind of have some questions.
Sure, yeah, you haven't done
This says short/long. That means I'm short. And it actually do speak for them.
So it's not speaking
Sounds like
Draconic,
the,
it's speaking
instead
Common.
of-
And those are your proficiencies, so all you have is the staff plus your punching ability and your key.
Go punch him.
Short range of them.
Short range, you could pick up long range eventually if you go to a store and buy like something like. Oh, you got your side too.
Yeah.
Go to the store.
Yeah, the side.
Um,
Yeah, the side.
Oh, dang.
yeah. So what you should know about a combat is you have different phases of what you can do. You can do an action. An action is to attack something, to heal someone, to cast a spell, to hide, to disengage. You have stuff in your monk ability that makes those things quicker eventually. But for now, it's an action to hide, to like, try and cover yourself, or to disengage is to get away from an enemy. And you have your movement, which is written up there, your speed. That's how far you can move. You can move 45 feet. Yeah, your speed. You can move 45 feet. In your turn, each square is 5 feet.
And we're, 60 feet away? Is that what you said?
Yeah, the tree line is about, it's probably 45 feet around here, 30 to
Each
something.
square
Okay.
is counted as
Well, I
5
have dark vision 60 feet.
Yeah, you can see into the trees. You can't quite see past them though into the
Right,
clearing.
right.
You can see a little bit of guards running and moving. And then you also have a bonus action. Bonus actions are kind of blow by blow. So like your flurry of blows, it says specifically you use a bonus action to do it. So also like if you have a healing potion, you take a healing potion on yourself. That's a bonus action. Just chug one.
I have a quick question.
Sure.
So, I'm a sage. Would I have any knowledge on it that I would study, or I have like some nature?
Okay. Go ahead and roll a nature check. And then
Okay.
what did you want to do?
Okay, so am I able to know what these people have done as far as I can see?
As far as you can see, they're just kind of hiding behind the trees, and every now and then they kind of come out, trying to shoot like a bolt.
But I mean, like my teammates.
Oh yeah, you saw them run off,
Okay, yeah.
and go where they go. They
But I
this
don't know
all-
what they know.
You don't know what they know. Yeah. So what she's seeing, you aren't seeing it because you're kind of back behind there. But so, and also all those things, movement, action, bonus action, you can take those in any order during your turn. You can say, I want to do a bonus action first to cast a spell on myself, and then make the attack and then I want to run away. Then,
I don't even know any spells. Like,
yeah, you don't know any spells
yeah,
at all. So your options are kind of like, you know.
So I think my strong suit is to get as close as I can to the action.
Okay.
Would I feel like I'd be able to see inside the mansion. Like, not too much, but enough to
Make a
know that.
perception check.
Yeah, okay.
Five. Okay. What were you wanting to know?
I want to know just if I could see if there was any threats within the
house?
Yeah.
With a 5, you see one window, and one person crosses the window like rapidly. But that's all you see. You just see a silhouette in the window.
I don't think Cat Lady can move that fast. Neither can Roger. So I'm gonna dash that way.
You're gonna dash that way. So you're gonna go. You want to dash?
Well,
So as an action that you can dash too. You can spend your action normally instead of hitting. You could dash and double your move. Spend your action doing that to get as far as you can.
yeah, I'm gonna try to get as far, if not in the manner or whatever, if I can.
Alright, so you have 45, so if you're dashing, you can move 90 feet. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, 35, 40, 45. And I will make you roll an acrobatics check to see if you can like vault into a window as you're running. 18. 18?
Oh, nice.
Oh shit. Okay. you guys see, and you're standing there, you're like on the wall, like you're holding onto it. And he Naruto runs through the trees and then pulls out his staff and pole vaults up, and you go through the window.
Oh, right.
And we'll say that's the end of your movement to do that super cool flip. You land in the window, you see kind of a person running off towards this side of the house. In this hallway, you're in like a hallway with it seems to be more of like a service hallway. It's not really a main hallway. It's not super extravagant like the main place you were in before. There's some doors here and there, and then the window at the end of the hallway. You do still see the action outside. It's almost like it's not really like a structure that you're in. It's more like a sort of a wraparound like veranda outdoor hallway that kind of moves, and so you can kind of see this on the edge of the veranda that points this way. You can still see this creature, and go ahead and roll a perception check for me.
Natural 1.
Oh no! You see just glimpses of movement, but you really don't get a good view of this creature.
But my dark vision is 60 feet.
Alright, what was the nature check?
13.
13.
Yeah.
From what you've seen, you're like, in your studies, you're like, okay, this could be, it's not a chimera, it'd be glowing fire if it was a chimera. It could be a lamia, or it could be a manticore, you're not sure. You roll an intelligence check.
No. Our rolls are not very good
Yeah, you
today.
guys are gonna die.
Oh, gosh, 5.
There's not enough clues yet for you to determine the difference.
I didn't even have a beer yet.
You guys are still feeling the ale.
You said manticore or what?
Manticore or lamia. But you're not sure. You can't. You haven't got enough clues to piece together which one it is.
Okay.
At that point, Gumiho is your turn.
Okay.
Oh. Sorry. Do I know the weaknesses of those two creatures?
With the nature roll of 13, you said?
Yeah.
You wouldn't have.
Alright.
Alright, so what I want to do is, since they're together, I'm going to go over here just to make sure she has some extra protection.
Okay, what's your speed?
30.
10, 15, 20, 25, 30. You get right here.
Am I close enough to inspect his armor?
Sure, yeah. Go ahead and roll the investigation check. That'll be your bonus action. Ooh, nice. Nice. Okay. What's your investigation plus that?
Oh, that's right. I keep forgetting I have this already. +1, so 19.
Plus 1, 19. Okay, so you you see the same thing that she saw. It's a barb. It's some sort of spiked barb that's going through his armor, or through the front part of his armor. His armor's caved in, as well as his ribcage. Is caved in as well. You see bubbling around the edge, around the entrance wound, like there's like foam, like some either poison or acid of some sort is coating these barbs. Do you want to make a perception check to try and see what are you doing for your action?
From my action.
You move your full movement, unless you want to dash for your action.
For now,
For my action, can I just stop my action?
Yeah. Cast a
Does
spell.
it have a...
I'm going to redraw this map here. This over here. This is the veranda here, kind of like this, and then there's like a big old sort of circular part of the building. The woods are, honestly, the woods are probably following this line pretty closely. That's nice. And so, you are actually standing up in this veranda area. And you guys are at the edge of the woods, and there's the body. And I'm not gonna put the mini down yet. You guys still haven't got, like, you've only seen it closely. No one else has.
I don't think anybody.
Okay. So, was I able to see the insignia on his armor?
Oh yeah, of course. With that investigation, you see that you roll him over, or he's already rolled over. On his armor, the insignia is the town crest.
Oh, okay.
It's for the town of Port Giblin. The town crest. It's like a gold. It's inlaid in gold around. It's a circle with this like kind of like a geometric crystal design inside, painted purple.
Alright, right. For my action, I wanted to do the absorb elements.
Oh,
That
okay.
allows me to absorb the poison.
So that one's a reaction. It's only if you get hit with that damage.
Okay.
So you'll have to look at your spell to see exactly what I believe absorb elements, like I get hit with a poison attack, I'm going to take the attack and kind of absorb the poison and use it for next time.
Okay.
So that's how, yeah, you wouldn't be able to do that, but you can still cast a spell if you want. That's an action or
No, actually, I just used my movement, so I can get ready with my bow from this side. If I can. Dash.
Oh, you want to dash, okay, so 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, right around here. And we'll say the forest kind of sort of arcs up this way, sort of.
Is he still high up?
He is still he's flying, the thing is flying, and you guys are still hearing this like screeching, just like, my child! Like it's, as it's flying by you, you're like, my child! And like that kind of thing as it flies by, and more guards are being dropped from the sky, and it's just like,
I'm giving it a chance to ask it what its child looked like or anything.
Oh, do I get to roll for perception to see if I
sure,
got it?
yeah, of course.
Hey,
20.
Nice.
Oh shit.
So 24.
You see the same, this woman's face, the eyes are this yellow gold. You get it high enough that you see that its eyes are like this, like, did you guys ever watch Andromeda Strain from the movie? Okay. Well, the eyes are like liquid gold, and they, for just a moment, it doesn't see you, but the eyes pass like in, like you see, that's how you see them, as it looks directly at you, as it like pans over looking for more to kill. It doesn't see you, or it doesn't know you're there yet. It's paws, it's got its fur, and you are close enough, you're close enough because it's actually kind of up in this area. You're the closest person to it right now, so you get this. You actually see that it's these porcupine quills on it as its fur. It's almost like how a shark, when you rub your hand backwards, it kind of cuts your hand. Same thing. The quills are sort of like excreting sort of this like liquid. It's got a glistening quality to it, and every time it's about to strike with its tail, it like rubs its tail on its back and like flicks them off. So you get the sense that's where the poison's coming from. It's coming from its body, you get the same image of this horrible like insect like from its mouth. Its mouth is like elongated and widened from that. It's like almost torn, but not quite.
Not something that I would have seen in the monuments, right?
Roll a history check. Either history or nature, whichever's higher.
Oh.
Either way, it's nice. Three.
You've never seen anything like this before. It's a foreign thing to you. All right, at that point, the guards, all of the guards, kind of start like getting into different positions. These two sort of move up a little bit. This one stays behind. He's scared. There's more guards on the other side. I'm not gonna put them down yet,
Yeah.
but they're kind of like moving and strategically. And there's a troop in the middle of the actual playing field. They're in different colored armor, but there's actually a group in the clearing that are like like kind of forming a formation. They seem to be more skilled, and they're like working as like a phalanx that's like kind of like moving rapidly and changing position. And there's one of them in the middle has this heavier crossbow that's like being protected by the rest of them. And they hit it every now and then, and it screams and picks up another guy from the tree line and drops them. At that point, it is Eritrea's turn.
How long has it been?
You should have woken up Zeb.
What's that?
How long has it been?
It's been 1 round, 6 seconds.
Oh, snap.
Yep,
Oh,
1 round.
so in 6 seconds?
all that action happens in 6 seconds of 1 round.
We're
Dragon
gonna
Ball.
pour in the order.
Because the idea is that what you guys are doing, even though we're going through it in terms, is happening at the same time. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So it's still like
You guys
4:05 in the morning.
You guys just went like poof, like out.
What time would the sun rise anyway?
The sun, you guys being around here, and you especially since you traveled into
Oh
here
my
and been
goodness,
here, you were
yeah.
in captivity for 4 days. You would know the sun rises around 5 p.m. or 5 a.m.
That's how use the darkness has an advantage, but not really, because it's fine, like, around. I don't know.
Alright, Eritrea.
So like for my druid craft, I can do like a sensory effect.
Okay.
Would I maybe be able to like have it hear me talking?
I believe the spell's in action, right?
Yeah.
Should have woken up Zeb and his mom.
It's only one action,
Hurry up! We need you.
and it reaches 30 feet. But the sensory effect has to fit within a 5-foot cube. So actually, I have a feeling.
You could. I'd say you could really. The spell is it's a cantrip, so it's not really complicated enough to like make a voice. You could make like a bird chirping or like an animal crying, like a cat crying,
Okay.
but you wouldn't be able to form words with it.
Maybe I can get him or her to think it is a baby that way, so then it goes that way.
Okay.
I'm
What?
gonna try that.
Okay. So which do you want to make a lamia maybe sound, or do you want to make
Oh.
This
Did he
little-
tell me anything before he ran away from me?
No.
Dang
You
it.
were,
If,
you were
I,
an
if
animal.
either
I
of
didn't
us
even
were
know
to
it was you,
explain to
but-
her what we saw, would she?
What's that?
If either of us were to explain to her what she saw or what we saw, would she be able to kind of figure it out?
Maybe.
If it was a.
Give her advantage next time on another intelligence roll.
My bad, I should
Okay.
have told you what I saw.
Well, you saw it afterwards.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's right.
So which noise do you want to make? If you're gonna do that. Roll dice for it.
Yeah, let the dice decide.
So high above. Here, do you want me to roll it? Or do you want?
Yeah, yeah, you
Okay.
can.
So what noise is going to be higher? Above half.
Manticore.
Manticore's above half. That is an 8. So you want to throw a lamia sound on the other side of the
Yes.
clearing there?
At least this will give me an answer, maybe.
Oh.
You on the other side of the clearing, or not entirely. Where do you want to put the sound actually?
Where is he? She?
She is somewhere here. You haven't actually like made
Right.
visual. It keeps bumping up and out of the trees. I'm not going to show it quite yet.
I'm going to have it go off that way.
Off this
away
way
from
for-
the house.
So 30 feet this way. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30.
Push your mind away.
Can I move closer first?
Sure, yeah.
I'll do that so it's not like right.
So you're gonna
Would
step
she
out of the
come out of
clearing?
the trees?
You're gonna step out of the tree line. You're right at the tree line.
Oh, you're paying attention to birds. Probably, maybe. I'll go a little.
Oh yeah, you're an axe thief. It is. You are a large bird. Just so you know. You're like a bit bigger than a normal person.
I think it's angry at people right now. So I'll
Okay,
go
so where do you want to run?
Like.
In that direction?
Yeah.
So, and what's your movement's 35, right?
Yes.
5, you just stomp right over him. 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35.
Okay.
And at that point, as you run out into the clearing,
Oh God.
you see this horrifying,
Oh
just
my
like,
god.
it's got these like quills coming out of all sides, and it's got these wings in it, and its barbed tail is and it's flying. And I'm gonna put out real quick.
I think I read the wrong choice.
This is representative of 9 guards in a phalanx position.
Okay.
Just so you guys know. And so, where are you throwing your druid crafts noise?
That way.
That way?
Towards the back a little bit more.
This,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30.
Yeah.
Right over here. So you like in the axe speed form. You don't really have you don't need to do the motions for it since you're in the form of the druid and or the wild shape. But you kind of think and your eyes sort of glow a little bit and you send this noise of this kind of like this almost like a cheetah, a little baby leopard chirping and over in that distance. And it's flying. It's about to go in the phalanx for a swipe, and it immediately is like towards that way.
Okay.
And it stomps on the ground and just starts like roll an insight check for me.
You just escape something.
Insight.
Insight
17.
17.
Nice.
So first things first, you're close enough at this point. You know it's a manticore.
Oh, cool. So it's the wrong noise.
You made the right noise. And what you know about manticores is that they're extremely territorial. Extremely territorial. And as soon as it hears the baby Lamia sound,
Yeah.
it's trying to kill the source of the sound.
Well,
It
that works
jumps
as
on the
well.
ground and it's literally knocking trees down at this point. I will say that there is a figure right over here, laying on the ground. I'm just gonna put that.
Would the ruckus be enough for like this area to realize there's a ruckus going on?
Like
that's
the-
other than what it was before?
Well, as far as everyone knows, it's just an emergency.
Oh,
of some
that's
sort.
alright.
The ruckus is not any more than it was, them killing people and dropping them from the sky and stuff.
Still a bit of a.
Still a bit of a noise, but there is a tree that like
TV.
goes,
Under.
falls down. And so that was your action, your movement. Do you have anything you want to do for bonus actions you can do, or
Can I dash?
so you already spent your action on the
Okay.
druid craft.
Can I like? So I can't move anywhere else.
Nope. Unless you have a spell that makes it, or unless you have a bonus action spell that makes it. Alright. At that point, it is its turn.
Oh no.
It's on the ground. It's not actually flying. And let me just.
Oh boy.
It rolled really well on the perception check.
Oh great.
And it notices it at that point. It realizes that there's nothing there, and it heard just a sound. It like leaps back up off the ground, and like pivots in the air, and it is going to. Its tail sort of like rubs against its body, and it rears back. It is going to target you. It will target one of them, or actually, it'll throw 2 more at them. It just sees a presence of something. It just throws something. It's just acting like it's an animal, basically. So
Okay.
for you, that is 22 to hit.
It hit me?
What's your
22.
AC as
As
an
the
axe
animal,
beat?
I... 19. Yeah, 19 hit points. 3d10 plus 3.
Is your AC. Your armor class is 11.
Oh.
Okay, so you're close enough, and everyone kind of sees at this point that it kind of leaps up and it flings a tail spike at the axe beat that you know is your friend. So you take 5 points of poison damage as this. It doesn't go into you like it did the guy, but it slashes one of your wings, and it cuts you. You take 5 points of the damage there. So just remember that your druid craft, it takes away first from the hit points of the axe beat, and then once the axe beat is dead, you come back as yourself.
Yeah.
So just keep that in mind. So it's taking only the hit points of the axe beat.
So I'm still the axe beat.
You are
no,
the
I'm
axe
not
beat.
anymore.
You didn't change back away from it.
Oh, okay.
So what's your axe beat hit points?
19.
19. So it takes it down to 14, but then once you die, technically as an axe beak, you'll transform back into yourself
Okay.
with your full hit points.
Oh wow, that's cheap. Just kidding.
That's what I'm saying. At level 20, when a druid can rapidly turn into dragons over and over and
Oh,
over again,
dang.
it's the most powerful thing in the game. But so then the other two misses. And this misses both of them. It just bails into the phalanx shield structures.
Yeah.
They've got those shields locked tight, and they're moving as a unit. It's pretty impressive to see.
Oh dang, did this guy have a shield?
He did not. He was not one of the special guards that you're seeing. These guys have like tower shields that are all interlocked together and they're moving as one. At that point, it will pick up and fly. So it's flying, but flying about 20 feet in the air. It is going to 30. It flies over this way, just like flies that way. And at that point, it is going to be Juniper's turn. You've seen that her form got slashed with something, and it got angry at something that you weren't sure about momentarily.
And we don't know who this is.
You don't know who that is. You especially, because you're on you haven't even seen it because you're on that side of the building, but she
Sure.
would see it, and you would probably see it.
So it's in my line of sight though. This
It
guy.
is now in your line of sight. It is fully visible. You are actually seeing like the bubbling on underneath its porcupine quills. Its quills.
Can I throw a hunter's mark on it?
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right.
Is that your bonus action, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's just what does that do?
Extra damage with holy weapon.
Okay. So you just put your hunter's mark on it. It's marked. What do you want to do for your action and movement? You're like hanging on the wall right now.
I think I want to climb to the top of the building if I can.
You climb to the top of the building.
Yeah,
Okay. So
if I can.
yeah, you can. It's
Okay.
not super tall. You watch from the veranda that she's hanging on, but she kind of like climbs up. You're actually on top of sort of. It doesn't have a roof where
Okay.
you are, but it's got like a sort of like a outdoor veranda style like sort of lining, like
Sure.
with leaves hanging off or vines hanging off of it.
Okay.
You are now on top of the building.
And
No trees are in your way up there.
I want to hold an action.
Okay. What's your trigger, and then what's your action?
If this guy goes to attack her again,
Okay.
I want to use a Zephyr Strike to get over to her. That'd be
Zephyr strike. Does that would just let me take I think that's another kind of like thing that. So you would be able to do that. You wouldn't be able to hold it, and that actually is a bonus action in Zephyr strike.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
And they're both concentration, just so you know. So you would drop the concentration of one on the other. The hunter's mark on the Zephyr strike.
Okay.
Uh,
So
And that's not really, you don't take an attack for that. That's just kind of giving yourself that buff.
yeah.
So did you still want to hold that action in case it comes at you or her?
Yeah, I'll do that. And then if that's the case, then would I still be able to like attack too?
So you wouldn't be able to attack. You can only hold
Okay. I see.
one thing as your held action.
Okay. I'll keep the 100 mark on it.
Okay.
My hold action will be, if it does go for her, I'll shoot at it.
Okay. Perfect. All right. At that point, it is Levi's turn. You've seen it now. It's kind of come up in the air. It's in the main area of the clearing. It's ugly as sin, and it is now full view of you. What do you gonna do?
Oh, you said I saw a figure move quickly inside the banner?
Yeah. So there's like an entrance area, and this figure is right about here at this point.
Okay, well, what I'm going to do is trying to find a better vantage point from inside, like stealthy, like looking around because I'm aware that I'm not. I saw something.
Okay. All right. So you want to run up to the guy because he's still visible.
Oh, I see him.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's still on the veranda. He's just about to go into the door.
Can I determine if it's friendly or foe?
Roll a perception check. but also it's not too hard to know who this is because of the wooden clogs that are clacking on the floor. And this is Garen. He is running currently. He's like, you know, and he's running off into this circular area. You're not sure where that is, but he's running in that direction. His claws are coming.
Yeah, well, I'll try to stop him and
Okay.
see like what he knows, where he's running to.
Are you gonna run up to him?
Yeah.
Okay, so 5, 10, 15, 20. You move about half a minute. You're gonna catch him and like, what do you say?
Garen, do you know what's going on? What's our best defense against this creature?
He, quickly as he can, he's like, I don't know what it is, but Master Fenrir, he's down on the ground. I'm going to get him.
Oh, yeah.
He says something about how he fell off a mountain.
Okay. How far is he? Where's he at? Where's the balcony from him?
So you currently don't see where this is, since you're here.
Well, I asked him.
Oh, he kind of points into a spiral staircase that's coming down
Okay.
in this area.
I would dash down the staircase.
Okay, so you use your action to continue your movement, and you want to use your action to dash as well.
Yeah.
So, we'll say, so you moved to 20 already, so 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70. You come out the door at 75. You come out the door, and you actually see Master Fenrir is like laying on the ground, just like he's breathing, like when you ever like hit your back really hard on the ground, you're like they make that horrible sound. He's like kind of like, and he's laying on the ground. Doesn't have any like pierce marks on him at all.
Okay.
Alright, so you dancing lights cantrip. So because you're an elf, you can cast light quickly, but that would use an action to do.
And I
which
don't
you've
have
dashed.
any more.
You've dashed is your action. Do you have anything that you could do as a bonus action that you want to do? You could try and check him if you want to.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead and roll a medicine check.
Medicine check. Five and the plus something or no?
Medicine.
No medicine.
7. You kind of look over him. He looks like you see a bruise sort of on his left hip. You think maybe he maybe popped something or hurt something pretty bad. But other than that, you just give a cursory glance as to what kind of is ailing him at the moment.
Sure. Is he able to communicate?
He's still just like he really can't speak at all at the
Okay.
moment.
Well, I guess I'd look for my surroundings, look for clues as to where, or what caused it to fall off the balcony, look for clues,
Okay.
investigate.
Okay. You'll have to hold on to that till your next turn.
Sure,
We've
yeah.
got a lot of stuff going on here. But if you want to roll for that now, you can. But we'll cover that in your next turn. Okay. All right. So, Gumiho, it's not your turn. You changing into something?
Yeah. I think I'm gonna go ahead and change into. I'm gonna change into the death dog.
The death dog. Here, let me take a look at that. Death dog. Jeez, nasty.
That sounds
You would-
cool.
That's actually really good for you too, because it comes from the Underdark. So
Yeah.
you would definitely have encountered dog before.
Ooh.
You guys watch this Gumiho. Anyone who sees him sees that Gumiho sort of like starts to run and like steps down, like puts his hand on the ground and just morphs into this two-headed, his head splits and opens up. It's like, and are you running? Where are you going?
Going to Eritrea.
Okay. You are now this.
Ooh.
And then, can I do a spell still?
You
Even
can't.
after
So
one?
the wild shape is an action to do.
Okay.
So you have your bonus action and some more of your movement. You only move about 15, 20 feet.
Okay. Can she understand me since she speaks to animals?
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, you can totally talk to her in your wild shape form. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Are you planning to stay in this form, or do you want it to end?
so are you being stealthy?
Oh yes. Yes,
You are being stealthy. Go ahead and roll stealthy.
Oh yeah.
7 plus 4.
Okay.
So 11.
So at that point, it is the guard's turn. They all start moving unless you were doing something else.
Well,
I mean,
I'm waiting for your heat.
maybe for now. Can I still make my spells?
What's that?
Can I still use my spells?
Yep, yep.
Yeah.
And you actually are not able to get an answer from it. You just
Oh yeah.
Oh. Gotcha.
Oh yeah. That's right.
You don't understand animals. You're like, and then
I like
she's like,
nod.
yeah, you can
Oh,
nod.
you can nod.
Yeah, so she nods yes.
Alright. So then I'll hold an action and.
So you can't hold an action this turn. You spend your action doing the rope crap.
Alright. Yeah, so I guess I'll end
Okay. At that point, the guards all continue their movement. The phalanx group sort of like flanks this way. They can only move. They can't move super fast, but they flank this way, and they shoot off some more bolts. Yes. And that one hits. It gets pierced in the wing. It's like, "Argh!" And it like lifts its wing and flicks it out. And then these guards keep shooting. Both miss. This one especially is just shake. It's just like he's shaking. He's really scared. There's some more arrows coming off from that side of the forest, and they're all missing. Wow, they're terrible. They're not used to hitting a flying object. Usually it's stationary or at least running. But at that point, it's Eritrea's turn. This two-headed, ghoulish, dark dog from the Underdark just like runs up to you, like and bounds up to you and speaks in your animal speaking abilities in Gumiho's voice.
So the manticore is no longer paying attention to me after you hit me that one time?
It's flying. It's kind of doing. It's doing what at the moment. What it's doing is it's flying. It's kind of going down and hitting things and coming back up. It's sort of just trying to kill everything, basically.
Okay.
It's very territorial. It doesn't like it. There's a lot of things around it. So.
Can I see what's going on over here?
Do you want to run there,
If I can see what's happening.
or do you want to see?
Like,
So you want to see or go there?
would I know to go over
Oh,
there?
go roll a perception check.
Five. Yeah, 9.
You see, you know that figure was there, that person laying on the ground. You thought, no, maybe it's just a dead guard. You see someone come out the door that's nearby, and like kneel and start to check, but you don't know who they are, or you can't make them out very well from this distance.
And I'm just scared to if you look, he'll just come back for me.
And short range.
I don't have one, so that's gonna end up being a
Go get yourself some darts or something.
Oh, wait, but he's flying.
Some
Okay.
throwing knives. You could probably throw your side. Huh?
Just out of curiosity, what kind of ground is this? Like,
This is plains, and there's not plains, but like the it's just like a clearing, and there's some garden boxes that have been just trampled by the phalanx guards.
so it's kind of like a grass.
It's sort of like it's sort of like a little nice gardeny backyard with some paths put through in long grass, but then there's like a well taken care of flower bed that's just trampled. Some pits in the ground where some bodies of guards are just like stomped into the ground like mangled.
Alright. I'm going to.
It would be different, yeah, because you can throw daggers.
And
Daggers
then do
can be
something
thrown.
stupid.
Basically, you can throw it. What's that? Yeah. Can't
Still
be
in your
thrown.
bird form.
The
Yeah.
distance that you can throw it is a short range.
Lord, there's gonna be
not short
dying.
range, you can throw it out to 30 feet with no disadvantage. You can throw it out to 60 feet with disadvantage. So it's a bit, but you can't throw it past 60 feet. Alright.
Now I'm going to. Now that I know it's a manticore, I'm going to try the druid craft again.
Okay.
Can I do that?
Sure, yeah.
But make the noise for baby panther.
Where are you putting the noise? Off in this direction?
No, like Yeah. Back.
Okay, so
Over here?
back here?
Yeah,
or,
yeah.
So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Right there?
Oh, really?
And just so you know, the tree line out here is like there's a kind of another veranda coming off that side of the circular part, and it kind of comes. The tree line comes right up to the corner like it does here. It's just a big kind of circular tree line. So you'd be able to.
Could I do that and then dash, or I mean, and then run over here from my movement?
Of course, yeah, you could. So you're gonna make the sound over here,
Mm-hmm.
and then you want to run this way.
Yes.
So make the sound.
Okay.
We're not sure yet if it's caught its attention.
Okay.
I'm sure it does, but and then so you're moving your 30. What's the speed of the 50 for the active? Okay. 50. It's high enough in the air that it doesn't get any opportunity attacks on you.
Okay.
And you run up and you see that now that you got closer, you see that Libra is leaning over Roger,
Okay.
laying on the ground. And you see this massive, like ostrich-like bird with an axe beak. It's like, you know who it is, but you're like, oh wow, that scared me for a second. It's like you know how like the emus kind of like run, like all funny like it's like running right at you like that. Is that your turn?
Is it?
You movement.
Can I like do like a? I can't do any spells.
Can't do any more spells unless it's a bonus action.
Okay, I'll do like a help. Can I, like,
Help,
check
that would be
him?
an action.
Okay, then
To
I'm
try and help him.
Okay.
Okay. That would be before. Hearing the noise, snaps back and turns his moves. And before he turns, he's just going to cover his. Actually, let me roll a wisdom check. What does it care more about? Its territory or its baby?
Ooh.
Give me help.
Oh,
Oh no.
It hears the noise, it kind of looks that way, but then as it's looking that way, its head turns and it sees another like beastly entity in its space, and it is going to
That's not because of me.
it is going to release an entire volley
Oh.
of tail spikes towards you.
Can I use my held action on that?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
So go ahead and roll for that. Roll that first. We'll
What
see
am I
it.
rolling?
Because that was a just an attack with your crossbow, right? Or what your bow, I mean.
So a 7 plus 2.
Roll the attack to hit.
Wasn't 17.
You do hit. You were holding it, waiting, and it turned towards his and made its attention known to him.
So 12.
12 points of damage. Nice. It's maintaining its decision.
Whoa.
Even though you were waiting, you let it fly as soon as it made that decision. It's going to maintain its decision to unleash the full volley on this other creature in its
Try.
face. What's your AC as a deck dog?
that's right.
Your armor
Prepared for this. 12.
12. So the first one is 20. Second one is 7, so that misses. Third one is 11, just barely. So you get hit by 1. And only 4 points of damage to you.
Wow.
As the spike kind of embeds itself in your flank on the back of your leg there, but you kind of shake your leg and it gets off of you. It is 4 points of poison damage. Is it immune or is it resistant to any damages?
Let's see. No, not that I can
Okay,
say.
alright, so you do take the full 4 points. What's your hit points as a death dog?
39.
39.
Oh,
That's not
nice.
too shabby there. Okay. You take it and you're ready. And at that point it is going to use its movement. It flies up in the air and just drops right in front of you. It's like getting your space. It's kind of like doing almost this like sort of territory dance as its tail like wiggles, trying to distract you off on the sides, and that's all its turn is.
Just when I ran past him, I have like passive 10 perception. Would I have noticed anything on him?
On it, like what?
Maybe a weakness or like a.
That would be with your. That would be more like a nature check to
Okay.
try and determine that. So your perception, you you would be able to see it. You wouldn't be able to tell any weaknesses unless there was like an obvious like it's already got a cut, but it doesn't.
Okay.
Seems pretty healthy at the moment. At that point, it is going to be Jennifer's turn. It's decided you hit it, and it looked, but it completely ignored you. It knows where you are.
Okay.
You do have a hunter's mark on it. Did you roll your hunter's mark?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
I wasn't
bonus.
sure.
Yep. Okay. I'm going to stay where I am.
Okay.
And what are the chances I can attach my rope to one of my arrows?
What are the chances? I mean, you could do it. You could
Okay.
certainly try.
And so then, can I aim for its tail to kind of like?
Pin it down,
Yeah.
and you want to shoot a tied rope. So I would say that tying the rope would take your action first. You have to wait till the next turn to shoot.
Okay. So I'll do that.
So you tie the rope not on the arrow. You're getting ready to try and fire a pinning down arrow of some sort. Yeah, so you don't want to move. You have and your bonus action can't really do anything unless you have a spell for that.
Yeah.
Okay, alright. At that point, it is the Brett's turn. You're kneeling at Roger Fenner's. You've met him before. You've met him once before. He is still like, what are you going to do?
My medicine is not very strong, so
You do also see on that side, you notice that it's landed. It's going after this dog-like creature. You don't know who that is.
And I'm right next to you.
Yeah.
well, I guess my plan would be to use my acrobatic skills to try to ride it, get on top of it.
You want to get up on top of it?
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. So
On
you want-
me?
so- on top of her or on top of the creature? So your movements, your
was gonna
your
ask
full
if I could
movement, so
ride
5,
you when
10,
you're-
15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40.
A
Go
wild
ahead and roll an acrobatics check.
So it's that
Plus the
roll
roll.
the dexterity though?
Not plus up there. It's just plus 5 onto your roll there.
16.
16.
Not bad.
He does the same you do the same vault maneuver. He flips up and lands as let it lay on the ground. It lands right on its back. And at that point, that's just your movement. So you do have your attack in your bonus action if you
So
want
should
to.
I have cleared that I took out my weapons before I
There's rules in D&D about equipping new weapons and stuff, and you have to spend bonus. I don't like that. I think that's stupid. I think that's not fun.
Okay.
So if you could just say, okay, I used my pole vault and used it, and as I was in the air, I tucked it away and grabbed my size, whatever you want. I just say it's your attack. You can use your whatever
So
attack.
how do I know which attack is the most strongest?
It's up to you, really. It's kind of flavor thing,
Oh,
or,
it's
or
the dice, right?
yeah, it's all
Okay.
dice. So your sai, if you look, your staff, your unarmed attack is a.
It's the very close.
You could use that as if you spend a key later at the end of your turn there. So for instance, just as an example, you've got your punch if you wanted to, or your sai. You could use your sai too. Stab at a sai. You could offhand punch as a bonus action, and then you could spend a key to use flurry of blows to do another punch if you wanted to. Or you could do a sai, a punch, 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 a sai, a punch. It's really there's a lot of
Oh,
choices.
and my animal handling 4 right now, so I don't know. It's decent. I don't know if there's a way to tame it.
You get the sense.
Honestly, probably not. Yeah.
You get the
probably
sense that while it isn't a beast,
Yeah.
it is not it's not a horse. It's not
Okay,
tameable. It's got its own mind that it uses to make its decisions.
Yeah.
Plus, you're
people
not
have
as bad.
died and shit. And they're flying around, so I roll out my side and attempt to
Stab.
blind it.
Blind. Oh, you want to stab in the eye?
Oh.
Okay. Go ahead and roll an attack.
Yeah.
So that's just that's your D20 plus the plus 5. I think is what you have for your side right there.
19.
That's 16. Nice. So you yeah, you reach around and it is invisible to you. Go ahead and roll high or low actually. Low. You reach around and you see it specifically as you don't see him fall because this creature's like in the way, but all of a sudden this hand comes out from behind and it pierces its cheek. And so go ahead, you hit it. So go ahead and roll whatever the damage dice is for that. So I think it's a D4
Plus 3.
D4 plus 3. So go ahead and roll the little pyramid. Yep. so you got 4 points of damage on the first one. Would you like to do your bonus action attack as well, offhand?
I will. So it's a cheat. That's not anything.
So you can just take when you make an attack with your weapon, you can take a free punch for your bonus action without spending any ki.
Right,
It's
but I
2
also have
punches.
a defensive bonus action too that might be wise.
So that's not a bonus action, or is it a bonus action?
Dodge as
Oh,
bonus.
yeah. Okay, so you could take a dodge to make it have a disadvantage on the attack at you, or you could punch it twice, or you could punch it once.
Okay, yeah, because I don't have really any long range, powerful long range attacks, so I'm gonna stay on the back and keep punching. Well, I got 2 sides.
Yeah, so you've got one. You can do another if you want.
Yeah, another one.
Okay, go ahead and roll. Go ahead and roll again. And do you want to spend a key to do 2 more attacks versus just one, or do you want to just save the key for later?
Let me save it for later.
Okay, so go ahead and roll the d20 one more time and add your plus 5.
17.
Nice. All right, you stab onto the other cheek. You got you're almost holding on to it with your 2 side, and go ahead and roll that pyramid dice for the damage.
3.
3, so 3 plus 3, right?
Yeah.
6. Nice.
Nice.
So you jump on, you climb up to its back, and you just go right into its face, and it just goes, oh, and starts trying to buck you off immediately. It doesn't like that at all. And at that point, Gumiho, it is your turn. You see now that Libra is on his back, we're riding it, and it's got 2 of his sides in its face.
Alright.
You're like, oh man.
Can I use my attacks or do I have to specifically use the death
You
dog?
can use the Death Dog's physical attacks. You can use your spells. You can't use your physical attacks. Your equipment and your armor sort of morph into the shape when you do that. Magic.
So, would I be able to use Stone one?
As a spell, yeah. Because that's a spell, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. The Death Dog does have the same wrappings on its sort of above its paws.
Ooh.
Really, the image of the animal is however you want it to be.
And that, so if I use Stone Wood, that would be my action, though, right?
Yes.
Oh, wait.
Uh-oh.
Is he still right next to me?
Yeah, he's still right on. He's reared up on his hind legs now that that's on his face. That someone stabbed his face, but
You got a front row view of the side and space.
Cool. This is a hard decision. I'll just do. I'll do the multi attack from the Death Dog.
sure. What is
It says the dog makes 2 bite attacks.
Okay, so go ahead and roll your whatever your dice it says for the 2 bite attacks. It should have all the information there for the bite attack, and you can make 2 of those.
1d6.
So roll the attack first with the d20 to see if it hits. It should have a plus there, down there, to hit.
Oh, 4 plus 4.
Plus 4, yeah. So add plus 4. So the first one is 7 plus 4, which is 11. That you go out to bite and it moves its arm out of the way. That's right when it reared up. You go to bite its forearm, but it rears up and you miss with the first one. But the next one, that's nice. So 17, and that one you kind of get You get in on its back leg as it's standing. You're almost like under it at this point.
Okay.
Go ahead and roll your damage.
Damage. D6 is this one. Or
Not
no,
that one. The
that's-
D6 is the normal dice.
This one.
4 plus.
Oh, plus 5. Oh wait. Plus 2.
Plus 2, yeah.
Oh.
Yep. So that's 6 points of damage. Nice. You go for the first attack, try and bite its flank, it moves, and then you jump in and lunge and bite its on your teeth are black, not white. As it's like you got these like onyx teeth as you pierce into its skin. It tastes pretty bad.
I bet it's got poison on it, right?
You're not getting poisoned by it. It's
Okay.
but you get the sense now that you're biting onto it that it's a combination of two chemicals that are one chemical being produced by the spike and one chemical being produced by the body that activates this poisonous effect.
Cool.
It just tastes pretty bad, the first chemical.
Alright. Is there anything else that I can do?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Not on your not on this turn.
Okay.
The guards all move. This one, seeing that there's now like other people helping, they actually move back.
What?
They're
Like
taking a
arrows.
better. I mean, they
Yeah,
can get it from anywhere.
They got bows, right?
They shoot and high or low.
Oh, dang.
You're riding its back, and you don't know what's happening behind you, but you feel a bolt tip hit you in the back of the thigh. Ah! And you'll take 6 points of damage. They seem to have missed and hit you instead. And then we're gonna roll for the ones over there. They aren't gonna have a chance of hitting you though, because they're on one side. So 6 points of damage. They'll take away from your hit points there. They're all missing, and they're not hitting. And then let's see if the scared guy. Yeah, he really misses. At that, so yeah, from the angle, you kind of get the sense that those professional ones actually seem to have missed and beaten at that point, Eritrea, it's your turn.
Alright. Can I tell if Roger is like gonna be okay for a while?
Roll a medicine check.
Alright. Ten.
Okay. You get the sense that he's not gravely injured. He just fell off the balcony because he's running.
Roger, you're just gonna have to relax a little bit.
As you run away, he's
Sorry, buddy.
You should be on back. I'll change you. Can you try?
He's gonna take an opportunity attack. He takes out his glove and just goes. Where are you going?
I'm gonna go like right here.
Okay.
And then I'm going to do Earth Tremor.
Earth Tremor. What's that spell do?
So.
So the range is 10 feet. So
Yeah.
You are within range. Okay. Determine the ground within range. Each creature other than you in that area must make a dexterity saving throw.
Oh,
Saving throw.
So.
well, you're not you.
I'm
So
on it.
you're on. You're on. So
He's got
I'll
his
say.
fangs in him still.
I'll say that you are.
Oh wait, do I still have my thing on? Or am I out?
You're in his space.
Okay.
And what's the range?
Whoops.
I was
15
thinking
like-
away, everyone.
That's okay. It's a learning experience. Okay. So go ahead and roll a dexterity saving throw, and you as well.
Ooh.
Oh.
Is that the right dice?
Oh no,
I think
that's
so.
one.
I don't
Not
know.
him.
So mine came to be 19.
19. And so now, what's your save? Your spell save DC? Should be a little bit of a higher number.
It says failed save to
The
I can work on that now. For the spell specifically?
Yeah, so you have a spell save DC that kind of gives people an idea of what they need to get to survive your spells. I think it'd be 8 plus your wisdom plus proficiency.
I have spell at 12.
12. So it's 12. Okay, 8 plus 4 because that's plus 2 plus 2.
They're both good then.
Okay, so you roll a 19. You roll the
15.
okay. So you guys notice you're not sure where the source is, but the ground underneath the Manticore's feet and underneath your feet starts to like arch, or like these spires of rocks are just go, and one of them hits the Manticore. He takes go and roll a d6 because that's the damage on the spell there. Oh yeah, just d6. 5. One of the spires actually kind of punctures his arm and he falls over. He physically falls to the ground. You kind of like roll a athletics check to see if you hold on, unless you don't want to hold on.
No, I don't want to hold
Okay,
on.
so you kind of tumble off his back right around here. You're still standing though because you saved on the spell, and we'll say that circular space right there is now difficult terrain. So it's gonna take double the movement to get through it basically, and you're kind of in it. So you did your movement, you did your action. Do you have anything you wanted to try for a bonus action?
Well, I didn't take my full movement.
Oh yeah, so we moved 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, so you can move 10.
I'm gonna hit him. Can I do? I can't do anymore.
You use your spell
Okay.
as an action. You could go up to him though. As he's on the ground.
I'm gonna back up a little bit. No. He's not. Well, he's prone, right?
He is prone, yeah.
I'll stay.
A little bit closer?
Yeah.
Okay. So, alright, perfect. At that point, it is now the Manticore's turn.
Oh.
It spends half its movement, just immediately jumps up. It
Oh.
spends half its movement, gets up.
You can get up when he's prone?
So to get up from prone, it takes half your movement to get up
Alright.
from prone. Let me see if let me roll up intelligence
Yeah,
check.
I didn't know you
So
could
he's
get up.
not in the difficult terrain?
He's in it a little bit right here.
He knocked me out of it, like I rolled out of it.
Yeah, you're not in the difficult terrain, but you're kind of over there now. It's roll pretty good. Man, decisions. Who do I want to kill?
Oh.
It is going to wheel around and it's going to target you as you're kind of approaching it. As
Okay.
it got up, it felt vulnerable that you were kind of coming up onto it while it's laying on the ground.
Alright.
So it's going to throw all 3 tail spikes at you.
Oh.
You see it does, it's like rubbing, and that's what's making that like sound, is as its spikes rub against the porcupine quills. It makes that sort of like almost grasshoppery music, and it turns and it whips one. Is your AC 11 as a axe beat?
Yeah, but I already got hit.
Well, the
Well, your
armor
AC
class is still the
armor
same.
class is the same. It's just your
Yeah,
hit
it's
points.
11.
So it rolls 21 to hit for the first one. Hit. Ooh, 24 to hit for the next one. And 18 for the last one. Dang!
Alright.
So you are taking,
You'll just be Eritrean.
Maybe.
and whatever damage rolls over is what you'll take onto your person as well. Just so first one. You take 29 points of piercing poison damage.
So I'm dead.
So how many hit points do you have left on your form as the
14.
14? So 29 minus 14 would be 15. How many hit points does your character have?
19.
You're up at 4 hit points. As you watch as he turns around, he's like, or she turns around and whips one. It peels into the chest of the axe beak. Whips the other, peels into the neck, and her form kind of goes down, and then the last one peels and it hits you in the arm, and you're like, as the form of Eritrea the form of the axe beak is dropped to Eritrea,
Oh my gosh.
and she's looking hurt, and like at this point you can see that's in your arm. area where it's been impaled is bubbling and your skin is kind of turning black around the edges of that. You're like, it's really, it's like a searing pain in your arm. And that is its full. It will move as the rest of its movement as well. It standing on the ground, and it has 15, so half of its movement. So it flies up 10 feet and moves like this.
Oh.
You get an attack of opportunity. And both of you get an attack of opportunity. When something moves away from your attack range, you can take one attack.
Right
If
now?
they don't disengage. So yeah, both of you roll an attack. So for you as Eritrea, it could be like and it can't be a spell unless you have Warcaster. So could you hit it with your staff?
I have a.
Would I be able to do the primal savagery?
What's that?
Primal savagery?
What is
So
that?
like, where I turn into a beast and get bigger claws and then.
Is that the spell?
No, it's well, I just turn into it, but it's like it's a physical attack.
It's like an action.
Oh, does it add on to your?
It's an attack that I think you can do.
As long as it's not a spell. If it's a spell, you can't do
It's
it.
a cantrip.
Okay, so you wouldn't be able to cast a cantrip. You can only take a bite or a claw with your as a death.
I'll do that.
And then you can hit it or punch it or something or attack with a scimitar. What'd you roll?
6.
What's your attack bonus?
Oh.
What do you add to it? You could still hit. You never know.
What am I looking for?
You're just if you were doing a bite, whatever the plus to the bite is.
Oh, +1.
Okay, so you don't hit. 12 plus.
What is
what is
it?
your scimitar bonus?
Plus 5.
Plus 5. Would be your dexterity plus your dexterity plus your proficiency if you're proficient.
I am proficient.
What's your dexterity?
2.
Okay, so you got
I know.
16 to hit
Okay.
because it's +4, right? So yeah, as it jumps up in the air to fly, you're like you cut out at it. So go ahead and roll the damage for the scimitar.
With what?
For the
Oh.
scimitar.
D6 plus 3.
Nice.
8.
8. It's like a little hurt. You cut through it and you're cutting like quills off. They're falling on the ground every time you guys damage it. And it's like kind of bleeding this sort of like black blood coming down from it at this point. It's like
This is good, we're getting to older level.
alright, at that point it is now Juniper's turn. You've seen this kind of spray, you see that your tray is like
Okay. So I want to shoot what I had ready, and
Yep.
I want to aim for its tail,
I'm gonna aim for its tail.
hoping to kind of keep it under control.
Okay. Go ahead and make your attack. Roll for the attack.
15.
15? Okay. You. And I'd say you would have to roll with disadvantage because it's an aimed attack. So go ahead and roll one more time.
Okay. Well, with my hunter's mark, I have perception and survival.
You have advantage on
Perception and survival.
not to hit it though. So go ahead and roll one more time and take the lower of the two. You could roll higher.
19.
Okay,
Oh,
so yeah, so
sweet.
yeah, you're like, you kind of brace yourself against the wall to make it as steady as possible. And this arrow with the rope attached goes, and it kind of hits the spine, and it does wrap around. Whether or not it pulls you up with it is
Oh,
up to
boy.
be determined. But it's not moving currently. I'd say how much? Would you get a 50 feet of rope?
Yes.
You're using the whole thing. Let's see, have some slack on you.
Yeah.
Okay,
that's
so-
fine.
35. So, and I'm assuming you're holding it to try and
Yep.
hold its tail down. I'd probably give it disadvantage on attacks with that tail spike. So nice, and you do still damage it though.
Oh,
So go ahead and roll the damage for that,
okay.
for hitting it.
About 7.
7 points of damage. Okay. It whips around and sees you, and now sees that there's a rope attached to it. And at that point, are you moving?
Can I jump down on the ground?
Roll an acrobatics check. You're about, I'd say you're about 30 feet in the air.
16.
16, so you'll take half of whatever damage is dealt.
Okay.
You jump off with the rope. Very low.
Anything?
So, just
Can't reflex it.
6. You take 4 points of damage. You kind of like land, your feet hurt, you're like, ow. But you're on the ground
Kind of get a better
right here. Yep.
holding of it.
Okay, perfect. Alright, at that point, it is going to be Libra's turn. You are on the ground, it's flown up away from you guys at this point. There's a rope attached to it now.
Ooh, options. Well, not. So both of my sides are still stuck inside of it, right?
No, you would have pulled it out with
Oh,
you.
okay. Oh, shoot. Come on, let's go. He's about 20 feet away, something like that.
He's 20, but he's also about 20 feet in the air, so I'd say he's
Okay.
probably more about like 40 feet away from you. Maybe 30, because it's sort of a triangle.
And it's still dark. That's why I got shot in the leg, right?
Yeah, it's still dark.
Can I like try to attach my light cantrip to it, like around it?
What's it's dancing lights?
Dancing lights cantrip.
Let me take a look. See the range. Yeah, the range is 120 feet. It is one action to cast dancing lights.
Ah,
Did you want to do that? Use your action for that? No.
Okay. Well, I don't have any spells, so I kind of have to rely on that, really. Okay, so since my charisma and let's see, persuasion plus 4, could I get close enough to the guards that are shooting the arrows to like give them like pep talk to like get them to like start shooting like cavalry?
Okay.
Shoot
Do you want to just like
correctly.
yell out to the guards around? Like start
Better.
yelling orders, kind of? You
Mm,
could do that. You could be like, what do you want to say? Just, are you gonna move to them, or are you gonna just yell out and do a clearing about like, here's what you need to do, kind of, or what?
yeah, I'm gonna make them less scared so they're more confident.
Okay, so what are you gonna say? We'll see. Well, that'll determine how
Okay.
effective it is.
Okay.
What kind of pep talk you give?
You like, guards, you can do better than this. This creature, this little creature came here. You're gonna let him destroy your own town. Show him what you're made of. You know, you got these bows. What have you been shooting at your whole life? Show him what you're made of.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Let me, so the phalanx guys, they're behind shields. They hear you, but you don't get any like reaction from them.
And so I was wondering if do I have to get closer to get that message clear?
Oh, they can all hear.
Oh,
You
okay.
just don't see them behind their shields. You're not sure like what they think about them.
Sure.
The other guards though in the tree line, and as well as those like the Normandy one, they're like they seem to hear it, and at that point it is Gilmio's, or so you spoke. You
That's
did
it.
not use an action unless you want to use an action, because that we'll say because speaking does not take an action.
Okay.
You can move and
So
you can
after
take
I spoke, none of the guards made an action at this time yet, right?
yeah, they can't make an action yet. It's not
Okay.
their turn quite yet.
How far is? I'm sorry. What's your character name?
Eritrea.
Eritrea. How far? She's
Like,
like
I'm
right.
right.
About 15 feet from you.
Could I use like a defense attack to like get her further away?
So you can't
Out of the
manipulate other
range?
people with
Okay.
that. You can only manipulate yourself with that defensive. You could try and like push her, but you might damage her.
Right.
You can kill her. Just remember, Monk's pretty strong with those hands. You might be able to kill her right now if you wanted to.
Well,
Grab the element.
okay. Dang, if I move, that's an action though, right?
No, movement. It's just your movement.
Oh, okay.
You can move and
Well, I'm
attack.
gonna move to where within 30 feet so I can get a clear shot with both my sides.
Just one side.
One
You
side.
use your bonus action to do a
Okay.
pep
Okay.
talk.
Okay. Pep
So you're actually already within 30 feet if you want to throw it right now.
talk.
So go ahead and roll. Roll. You're within 30 feet, so you're not at disadvantage. You just roll your d20 and add the 5.
It's 11.
11. You give this like really awesome pep talk. You're like, what have you been shooting at your whole life? And then you pull out your sight. And we'll say it moves 60 feet at disadvantage. 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 60. Your sight lands somewhere over there, just like, and it like flies.
I thought I was accurate within 30 feet, man.
You are. You only had to roll once. If you had been further, you would have had to roll twice and take the lower one.
Gotcha.
But your side kind of disappears under the forest. And the guards are like, but they still seem to be like, okay, that was funny. We're focused on that right now. Alright, so that's your turn.
I'm blaming this on the arrow in my thigh, you jerk.
Alright, give me a it's now your turn.
Alright. So I'm about to try something crazy.
Okay.
I want to use my movement to see if I can get on it.
To jump 20 feet.
Because I think
Oh.
he. Yes. Damn, that must have been a different. But my speed is 40 for the.
I don't think
Wouldn't
it'd be
be able
possible
to?
for you to jump
Yeah.
up and grab onto it. I'd say, okay, high or low?
Let's go low.
You kind of eyeball it with your dog. You're doing like the Zach Galifianakis math, you know? Like, you think. Have you ever seen those videos of the dogs like hanging from the branch and like swinging around?
yeah.
You think that with a very high athletics roll, you could probably jump and nip the bottom of its paw. It's up to your choice, though. If you
Okay.
want.
And then would I still be able to do a spell afterwards?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'll try that.
Okay. Go ahead.
Athletics?
Probably
Go
not
roll.
one that you have to speak though.
Not one that.
So as in your druid shape form,
You don't have
to have
Oh.
those components.
Oh.
So go ahead and roll an athletics check. It's going to be difficult.
Okay.
Roll it.
Wait.
Do it anyway?
Do it. Yeah.
11?
What's your athletics? As the dog.
As a dog?
Yep. It'd
What
be your
is-
strength.
Okay. Plus 2.
Plus 2. 13. Run. Jump. You get like this close. And it's just like that. Well, you land back on the ground. You aren't able to. Yeah.
But I'm next to it now?
But you are underneath it.
Okay. But I just wanted to get close to it and try that.
Sure.
And then the spell that I wanted to use was Healing Word on Eric.
Okay. Is healing word is it touch?
No, it's thing.
Here, I'll look it up.
I throw it. I can throw it 60 feet.
Nice, yeah, you can totally do that. So go ahead and roll your 1d4 plus your wisdom, I believe, is your spellcasting modifier.
1d4.
1 plus what's your wisdom?
Oh, wisdom.
As not as the dog, as you.
That's me.
You got your brain intact. Still.
Plus 2.
Plus 2. So you take 3 points of healing. You are now at 7 whole
Alright.
points. Back down to level 1. Okay. I think that's your full turn to do
Full
that.
turn.
Okay. Alright. At that point, the guards were like, yeah, what he said. What we've been training our whole lives. You know, they start shooting. They're gonna get advantage. All of them.
Aw.
So that one, first one, gets the phalanx guys. They take some, they shoot, and they hit it right in the leg and the shank in the same place you got hit.
That's what I'm talking about.
Another hit. Another hit.
Yeah, don't let up.
Nope, natural 20 for that one. The Norman, you guys like, yeah! And he like hits her right in the neck. Okay, yeah. It looks like it's like wing is kind of having one of the bolts hit like in the shoulder. It's having trouble flying. Not to inhibit it in any way, but it's like it looks really bad at this point, and it's just like, and it's still screaming out about the child. And at that point, it is Eritrea's turn.
Okay.
Pretty hurt, but the volley the guard just unleashed was like, oh gosh, it looks like we can kill it maybe.
I'm going to hit it with produce flame.
Produce
Wait.
fire.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you have to roll for? Or go and roll your spell attack.
Is that like okay?
Whatever.
So-
It should be on your page, I think. Spell attack. What do you add? To it?
17.
Not 17. Or so.
It's +4.
Oh,
Spell
plus
attack
4.
is
Yeah.
+4.
Okay.
So
Perfect.
17.
Yeah. You. And go ahead and roll your points of damage, however many points it is.
Wait. With this? Or with
What is the produce flames? What is the damage for that?
1d8? And then it's +4. 6.
6. Alright. You. And this like almost like one of those like fire spitting performers, just like it like comes out of your hand in the form of an animal, like a Patronus kind of. And it hits the manticore. It, like kind of moves back. It gets all its face. You see some of the tips of its quills are scorched on its face. It looks really hurt. Do you want to move at all?
Yeah. I'm gonna move behind this land over there.
Okay, alright. You're like, but then you're just like, oh shit, you're not here. Okay, alright. At that point, it is the manticore still.
Oh,
Ah, snap, I'm right under.
oh I got the rope.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
God.
it's coming for you. It doesn't like you. It is
Why'd
going
you
to.
just step on me?
That's what it's going to try and do. It's actually going to. It's going to swoop down right at you, and it's going to land. It's going to try first to bite. That's 19 hit.
Is it a lot bigger than I am?
It's a large creature. It's as a dog, as the dog size, it's probably got 3
It's
times.
pretty accurate.
Yeah, that's accurate. That's accurate. 19 to hit for the first one for the bite. So like it's nasty insectoid like pinchers, just like pinch into your skin. I'm sure 19 hits. And then it's going to make 2 claw swipes at you. So
Oh,
it's just
wow.
start wailing at you.
No.
That is 17.
Oh, jeez.
That's a natural 20.
Oh.
So first the bite.
You got a lot of hit points
Yeah, I
as
got
the
a lot
dog.
of hit points.
11 points of piercing from just the bite.
Oh.
I'm gonna keep track of your
You wouldn't have them. You would just be able to use them if you ever found them. 8 points of slashing for the first claw attack. So 11 for the bite, 8 for the first claw attack, and then the natural 20. 15 points of damage from the second. Are you still standing?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
You're
Okay.
still in dog form?
No.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
I'm not as a dog. I'm
So how much?
standing
So
at
what?
myself.
How many hit points did you? How much damage did you take on your person?
On my person.
Because it would have
let's
rolled
see.
over to you as well. So 15,
So-
11 is 26, plus 8 is.
So I took 9 hit points to my person.
Okay, alright. So, not too bad though, right?
You have like what time?
Yeah. So I have 11.
11, okay.
Oh boy.
Not too bad, but you know, it still hurt pretty bad. It hurt you again. It's, at this point, it like swipes down at you, and as it's swiping, it's just like, Royal Steelers! And then it's just like trying to kill you. It's trying to kill you, and you turn it back into your form and realize
Oh, wait.
it's your person.
I did terrible math. Okay, so.
So the total of damage would have been
Alright.
26 plus 8 is, it would have been 34 points of damage total.
Oh, I am a dog.
Okay.
I have 1 hit point left as a dog.
Oh,
Oh,
nice.
nice.
Okay. 1 hit point left as a dog. Good.
Wow.
I was looking at it. I was like,
Okay, so you're still in dog form, but it's still trying to kill you.
Okay.
And at that point, Juniper, it's now your turn. You have it in your, you have its tail held down. You didn't use its tail though that turn.
So, since I'm standing by the woods, can I tie the rope to a tree?
Sure, that would take your action.
Okay, I'll do that.
Okay, tie it off.
And then I want to run over to Roger.
Okay. Run up to Roger. Roger's like, oh, please, please.
I'm like, Roger, what is this thing talking about? Child stealers. Have you seen a baby one of these things?
No,
Come on.
no, not at all, never.
Roger, I feel like you're lying.
You can roll an insight check if you want.
Okay.
Or intimidation check.
Okay, yeah, he's intimidated.
Um. 6.
He's just mainly scared. Like, you can't get past that initial primal fear of that he's just frightened and hurt, and you can't tell if he's lying or not.
Okay.
Can you use another?
Alright, at that point, it is going to be Lee Bryce's turn. It is just, it's on the ground now, it's wailed at him, and hurt him pretty bad as a dog. He looks near dead as a dog.
Okay. Do I have any idea like what it's gonna take to like finish it if it comes to that?
It looks pretty bad.
Can I communicate with it, right?
Sure, you
Does
can
that
talk to it if you want to.
count as an action?
I would say talking usually is a bonus action.
Okay.
As long as you're not like giving a,
Right.
soliloquy.
I'm going to say the people of this village don't know what happened to your child. You better leave now if you want to live.
Ooh.
Roll an intimidation check or persuasion, depending on what you want to do. Intimidation can use your strength as well if that's better for you.
Definite persuasion.
Okay.
18.
18. Let's roll this one to save for her. What is your wisdom, or what is your charisma modifier? Okay, just barely. It looks at you, and I'll say that it doesn't want to leave. It like logically, it doesn't want to leave, but it hears you, and it's like nasty lady, like insect face, like looks at you, and it's terribly. What's this child? It is just like liar, and as it like because you said that we don't have your child. It is firm in its belief that someone has its child in this area. So what do you want to do for your action?
Step in the wind. Try to
Sure.
get up.
You want to get on its back again?
Yeah. I got one more side left. I'm trying to finish it off.
It's on the ground. You could get on its back
Oh, for
without
real?
stepping
Okay,
in.
good.
Yeah. So you just have to roll that acrobatics check for me. They called you a liar and you just run. Roll your acrobatics if you're doing that.
Or I guess 3 of both, right?
Yeah, you could do that. You could, because you could jump onto its back, make your attack, do your offhand attack, and hit again with flurry of blows if you want to spend a key.
Let's go.
Okay. All right. So first acrobatics check.
Acrobatics. Okay, back. 20.
20.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you did even better this time, and you could, if you want, if you're using your staff, you could like vault.
Yeah, let's get fancy with it.
You vault with your staff. You're kind of in the air as you're flying. You bring it back and hit him on the top with the staff. Yeah, that kind of stuff. Okay, go ahead and roll your. Well, he doesn't fall necessarily.
I thought he was on the ground.
He's not like he's on like his feet are on the ground. But
Oh,
go ahead and
so
roll
he's
your.
crawling.
Are you using your staff to hit him then?
Well,
Maybe a D6 instead of a D4.
no. It would be
Keep him with the side?
The side, yeah.
You get the one you have left.
The one I have left.
Alright.
Save my dignity.
Go ahead and roll the attack. First roll your D20 to see if you hit with that attack.
Minus
Plus 5.
18.
You hit with the first one. Go ahead and roll your D4. And then add 3.
1.
So 4 points of damage, okay. Now your punch with the other hand, do for your bonus, do you want to do the flurry of blows?
Yeah.
You know, go ahead and roll 2 attacks. Roll 2 D20s. Add 5.
Ah, speaking of here.
Okay.
So 10 for the first one.
Okay, that misses. Or at least you hit, but it doesn't seem to hit you. You're like, I gotta find a weak point.
One more weak point. Oh no. 6.
You jump up and you stab into the back of its neck with the sai. And you just, but you're not finding a way through the kind of tough porcupine quills with those. You do get some damage, and you're on its back now. It's not quite down yet. It looks so close, not yet. at that point is Gumiho's turn.
Are we all 15 feet
Assistance,
away?
please.
That's what I was watching.
He is on its back.
How tall is the?
If you target him with that spell, you will hit him too.
Okay, how many hit points you got? How many? 8? Oh, it's not.
Yeah, you're likely to knock him too. That's it. How many hit points you got?
If I had enough, I would have said do it, man.
I mean,
Do it.
I mean, he's not 10 feet tall. He's not.
Nope. You'll hit him.
That's why I was confused. That's why I put him on his side. 'Cause he looks like he's strong.
All right. Let's see what I
Still bite or whatever if you want.
can. I'm right next to him, right?
You are right next to it. Yeah.
I'll do primal savagery,
Okay. What does that do?
and that one is the one where
The cantrip?
yeah, the cantrip.
Oh, cantrip. Nice.
Yeah.
So now that just like makes your. Do you get to take an attack as part of that? Or?
Yeah, so I basically turn into like a beast, sort of,
Okay.
even though I already am.
You
But I get bigger claws.
your hell dog just like its nails turn red like your eyes glow red and start smoking and you're just like go for it.
Cool. So
Go for a claw or something.
18?
Nice. You can do your multi attack with that.
Oh, can I?
Yeah.
Ah. 10?
10
Oh.
plus
4, I believe. Yeah, 4.
beats it beats, so you hit with both of them.
Awesome.
Go ahead and roll your primal savage damage. What is the damage say for primal savage?
Thank you for
I think I,
my phone's recording, so I don't need to.
I can put it here. Oh, so it is just the one attack. So you hit with that attack. Just the
okay.
one. But roll a d10.
D10? Is that this one?
That's the yeah.
This one, right?
Yep. 9. Nice. I don't want to do this.
Oh!
Yeah,
You got your
All of
two,
them.
two
I
zero.
know.
Cool.
Describe how it looks. Tell us
Ah,
theatrically
dang.
what happens. You rip its throat out or something?
Okay, so I'm gonna start with its wings.
Okay.
With my claws, I wanna. Oh, I'm the dog, right?
You are a dog. Yeah.
Okay, so with my claws, my front claws go for the wing as my back claws before the wing drops. Push me off to the next wing to rip that one off.
Okay.
And I ran next to it, and then I just kind of go right through the side of its body, taking out its hearts, like going right through it, taking out its heart with me.
Alright.
I
You
feel
like-
like Kiba doing
That was-
this.
Jumps out, rips. Wing falls off. You see the stump still like trying to flap as hard as it can, and it's like spraying this like green black blood everywhere. And you do the same with the other one, like Mortal Kombat style. The blood's just like spraying everywhere, and then you go through and you take its heart out of its body, and you stop, and you got its whole like a chunk of heart in your mouth. You know, you guys are like. They kind of point their arrows at you. Are you gonna drop your? The combat's over. You dropping your form?
Yeah. I guess I only have 1 hit point anyway.
You probably took a little bit damage like, from the quills going through its body,
Oh, yeah.
and you come back out as a person. Combat has ended. It's still like twitching on the ground, and then just like its last breath comes out. The guards are all like. One of the guards from the phalanx steps out and like runs over to you, and he's like, "What's your name?
Gumiho.
What's your business?"
I am here seeking a man with a raven tattoo.
Well, thank you, and thank all of you strangers. I don't know why you. He's got this voice of authority. He seems to be a captain of some sort, and you guys can hear his voice all over. Like he has I want to say like an ability, but like he's just very persuasive and very commanding. His voice booms through this clearing. Everyone can hear him. And he's like, "Thank you all for your help. I don't know why they don't ever come down this far. It's very bizarre." I didn't see no Roger. And Roger's like, Landon's like, yes. Yes. It's like, did you have its child? Why would you do that? And they start conversing, and you get the sense through this conversation that, like, Roger doesn't have a child. He doesn't know what it's talking about.
Oh yeah, the music.
I hate it.
I didn't even notice.
Why did you do that? I really wish
I
you
heard
wouldn't do
enough
that.
beat emotions.
You guys, you waited and just like.
Alright.
I'm walking back over to that tree to get my rope.
Okay, you get your rope off, pull
Yeah.
off the.
I'm gonna go. Well, I guess. There you go.
Is initiative to go away now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
initiative's
Can I
done.
come all the way over here then?
Where do you want to go?
Can I go through here?
Sure, yeah. You walk up and you kind of. Do you want to cast a spell or do you want to just kind of help it?
Oh, this is.
I have cure wounds.
Sure, go ahead and roll your. Mark off your spell as well, if that's a level spell.
Since I've never seen something like this before, I'm like, kind of like, ooh. And I want to go over to it and I want to like try and take some of these clothes out of
Sure,
it.
yeah. Go ahead and roll a survival check.
I rolled 11.
15.
15. Okay. You get 3 quills. 3 of its spikes. Not sure what those can do for you yet, but you can use them anyways. You rolled 11 for health.
That was with this plus my spell attack.
Oh no, it's not a spell attack, it's just cure wounds. Whatever you add to for your cure wounds if you're trying to heal them.
Oh, okay.
I'll look it up here. 1d8? Okay. Roll a d8 and add your
2 times.
wisdom.
Yeah. 6. 12.
Nice. You cured him 10 times over. He's like laying around, the bruises go away. He's like, oh my god. I don't know what that was. He's like, cut up, you see that? He's been crying.
Can I try and take his mane for my?
Oh, you want to try and like get a headdress going? Okay, roll a survival check. Okay.
4.
Yeah, you were able to get like in this kind of cool mane hood if you want to add that to your hood.
Yes.
There you go. Yeah, your hood now has this like kind of this quill effect to it.
Hey.
Alright, what are you guys doing? The guards are all kind of like sort of triaging with each other. They're like picking up the bodies like with of their dead fellow men, you know, picking them up.
Can I go over to the train clean it somewhere?
Sure, yeah.
Oh, I forgot about my stuff.
She's still dying over
Yeah,
there.
she's still pretty low. Go ahead and do a healing word. Is a healing word a cantrip or is that a
That's a spell.
spell? So are you keeping track of your spell slots?
Oh, no.
Can I bandage myself a little bit?
Sure, yeah. You can. Are you just doing like a medicine check?
Yeah.
Okay. Just roll a medicine check and first you get a 15 DC.
How do I keep track of that?
What'd you roll?
11 plus 2, 13.
15. You were able to heal yourself in one hit. Not quite the best, but you're like you staunched the wound.
How do I keep track of my spell slots?
So what level are you? Do you know how many spell slots that you attack for? Okay, let me. You guys gotta keep track of this. Let me pull it up here. Actually, I think I need to keep it up here. So you use in the game, you use a lot of cantrips. I know that. Oh, look how magical I am. You've got at level 2, you've got 3 first level spells. So what do you use during the game?
I used healing
Healing
word
word once.
and then I
Use form?
Beast.
Oh, primal savagery.
Primal
But that's a
Savagery, but
cantrip,
that was
so that's
it.
fine. So
Yeah.
you've got 2 spells left.
unless the animal one counts because I used the double bite.
Oh, that's
Well,
Druid shape or wild shape is not a spell.
Okay.
It's just an effect that you have.
So yeah, I only used one.
Okay, so you got 2 left. Alright, so you gonna use another one on there?
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead and roll your. Is it a D4 or is it a D?
D4, yeah.
That's a D6. It's a little pyramid there.
4.
Oh.
4. So 4 plus your wisdom plus 3, I think, for you. Or
Wisdom plus 2.
plus 2, so 6 points back to you.
Nice.
You're gonna try to walk around the guards, whatever.
Okay, they're kind of like feeling like bandaging each other and lifting, picking up buddies off the ground and stuff.
Trying to see which one shot me with an arrow.
Roll an insight check.
Must have been you.
2. What's your insight?
4.
What's that?
2 plus 2.
You're looking around and they all seem, you can't get a beat on who might have done it.
I'm trying to use my intimidation to see if they know something maybe within the city that stole the kid or whatever, the animal's creature kid.
Roll an intimidation check as you speak out. What are you saying? What are you trying? What intimidating thing are you saying?
So, as you all know, you're supposed to protect this village. You lived here mostly your whole lives, I assume. You know that this creature would not attack this village like it did without good reason. I know one of you knows something. You gotta tell me now.
Okay, roll your intimidation. You get advantage for that.
Cool.
Roll it twice and then take the higher roll. You roll one more time. Which one was higher?
The first one was 17.
17, okay. The captain is like, oh, natural one. He actually seems pretty intimidated. He's actually like maybe a half foot taller than you, and like bulkier. He's just like,
I saw you jump on
he actually like
his
lowers
face.
his he doesn't make eye contact with you. He's just like, he does seem ashamed that this creature would have gotten this close without being seen up ahead of time. Look, I don't really know, honestly, why it would have come. I don't get it. But we are quite ashamed that it breached the walls that it did. Shouldn't ever have been that close.
Then it did. Why do you think it did what it did? How was this possible?
Well, I mean, it was looking for its child. I don't know if something took it. It seems to think that
How did it get this close?
it has wings. I mean,
Without being seen.
you slapping him? You slapping him?
Maybe. This is the general tap. Intimidation slap, you know?
Okay. We'll roll that intimidation over. He's just like, look, okay. We will launch an investigation into the guards that were manning these. He points to the wall that's kind of behind that forest and points to the sentry towers that are on that area. He said, we'll talk with those guards and see what they were doing. They should have seen it, but there's nothing I can do right now.
Okay, and do I think that seems plausible? Like,
You get the sense that he's an honorable man to be in the position that he's in.
okay.
While he's intimidating him, can I go ask him if any of his soldiers have any tattoos?
Okay, sure. You ask him?
Yeah.
What are you asking?
Do you know of any of your soldiers that have physical tattoos around their chest area?
There was one once, but that was 10 years ago. That was before we mandated that no soldier would be having a physical mark on his body.
And would he know how to maneuver the turret soldiers away from the station?
We haven't seen him for 10 years. And he was never in command at all, but I don't know where he is now.
And he wouldn't know the protocols at all?
No, not the guard watch. We tell them what to do, they do it.
We're gonna have to talk to those guard watchers.
Roll persuasion. Make it with advantage since you intimidated him.
While they're doing that, can
So
I
roll
like
twice and take the higher roll.
look around in the forest over here?
Sure, just go roll perception.
Good. And that's persuasion?
Yeah.
15.
Okay. He's like, sure, yes, absolutely. And he's still not making eye contact with you. It's just like, sure, yes, you can speak with them. We'll make them available in the Market Prince's guard
Very well.
he at that point he starts to rally his troops and they start to move and pick up bodies and they're kind of moving out. They are not touching the body of they're gonna leave that for Roger to pick up.
And Libra, you might want to pick up that dagger you threw like 60 feet away.
When you look for it, you take a little bit of time. You do find it, pick it up off the ground. So you have your two sides again. What are y'all doing?
I'm gonna look around in the woods.
Oh yes,
There,
yeah.
yep.
You rolled a 15, right?
Mhm.
You look around the woods, and with a perception, I'll give you the chance to roll. That's the thing. Is the perception was good enough that you are allowed the chance to roll a survival check.
Hmm. Okay.
Now, I don't know if you had failed, you would have been able to roll a survival check.
18.
Nice. With your ranger ability and just like your general keenness on tracks, there is a section of the wall that there is a pair of footprints leading away from the. No guard was ever near there. So some footprints like leading away from the actual wall itself and not towards the house.
Hmm.
There's a particular mark on the footprint, and it's just it's a particular footprint. You would be able to notice it if you saw the shoe.
Okay. Can I call them over?
Who opened?
Like them. in
Oh,
general.
all that, yeah, of course, yeah.
Okay. Hey guys, come over here. Come check this out. Found something.
I'm invisible.
Roger kind of like stumbles over to you. He's like, what have you seen?
Have you seen somebody with these type of markings before on their shoes?
Oh, I mean, I don't generally see the bottoms of people's souls, but
Roger.
Have you seen anybody doing suspicious activity earlier? Or what is it, this morning?
no, no, not at all. Actually, it was a pretty uneventful night until bees started attacking around my house.
Hmm.
Right, so
Do I notice anything as I walk over there with my passive?
What's your passive?
14. And can I roll? Do I get like an advantage?
You would get advantage, but you can roll your perception.
Can I follow the footsteps?
Sure. Yeah.
I'm sure you want to.
Well, that was good, you know.
Should I? Probably not. Yeah, wait till-
Well, so you two kind of, and everyone kind of following the toe. Are you following the foot tracks with them?
Yeah, I'll follow.
Yeah.
You follow the foot tracks, and they kind of from the wall over here, from the forest wall, they kind of curl out this way. And at this point in the forest, you see a stump that has been overturned. You wanna it's been moved. It looks at least to both of you, it looks artificially placed there.
Yeah, I want to investigate it.
You kind of push over the log, and underneath the log, you see the sort of half-buried remains of a manticore cub.
I want to say,
Well, I'm glad we didn't find that before. Because it would have been way more dangerous.
Yeah. Alright.
And are you guys gonna continue following tracks? The tracks kind of like walk around that for a little bit, and they continue.
it's clear that they're not like, so this is not an inside job unless the guard was wearing these weird boots.
Yeah, I want to keep following.
You keep following, and the tracks do actually lead inside that door that you had come in.
Roger's house?
Into Roger's house. They lead right up to the doorstep, and then they stop once they hit the bottom floor.
I want to look at Roger and say, I don't think you're safe here, Roger.
I want to say,
What do you mean?
I think that something's after you, and whatever it is, it knows where you are, and it is trying to get you. I think maybe you should go away for a while.
I'm going to ask him if he's sure that he didn't know anything.
I really don't.
Roger, how was it that you got injured again?
I feel like
How did you fall off the balcony?
I was paying too close attention to the manticore, and I walked forward and I fell off the balcony. he's laughing at
So
something.
you were pushed, or you just were
I
being
wasn't
clumsy?
pushed. I just fell off. I've done it before.
Yeah.
Oh, Roger. You didn't see anything
Oh,
suspicious
God.
while you were out on the balcony.
No, I fell off in the midst of the fray.
Ah, I see. Yes.
Well, I
So,
still don't think it's something.
He's been, yeah, we've all tried to do like medical on him. The wounds are real.
Yeah.
Have you noticed any new staff come in?
No, I haven't. Ever since we had that conversation about the shape changer, I've had my color tight ship. I don't let anyone I haven't seen before. Quite frankly, if it can change shape, it probably looks like something I've seen before. Right?
What was
Maybe you should go stay with Maria for
what was your guy's friend with the hooves? Wasn't
Oh,
it Roger's
with the-
friend?
Oh, the clogs.
Yeah,
Garen is not
clogs.
anywhere to be
Okay.
seen
No.
yet. Garen is still inside the house somewhere. You're not sure where. He never made it out of the house. He's like just kind of rubbing his eyes. It's just, you guys check with where the gardener lived.
We
No.
didn't get that chance.
But
We came to
we
save
should probably do that.
Which I was just.
At this point, as you guys talking, them picking up. I'd say after the fight settled, you see the sun kind of rising. It's early morning, 5 o'clock or so, 5
Okay.
a.m.
Well, clearly, there definitely is someone really wanting to get rid of Roger.
I don't
So
know why. I don't get it.
you need
just
to
seem so
relocate or something while we figure out.
Well, I
Maybe
should
you
hop
should
aboard
just,
one of your
uh,
ships and go to Chult for
I
a
don't have
while.
a ship.
Maybe it's
Oh,
for
the
your
money
money
you
if
have
you
and
give
you
me
don't have
the.
a ship.
Not one particularly.
Seems kind of odd that this fancy house, fancier than anyone here I've seen, doesn't have suitable transportation.
Okay, look, I don't get on the water that much. I don't do my own sailing, and I
But you walk around forests, don't you?
No, I don't. What are you talking about? Pulls out his glove.
Well, Roger, it seems like we should be compensated for saving you yet again.
You know, Greenville, I like the way you're thinking.
Make a persuasion check. Cheeky bastard. He's like, when you bring me the shape changer, I'll compensate you.
Alright.
Alright, next move is probably going to that little village.
Yeah.
So the footprints ended at the stump.
Yeah.
They ended at the door that you came out of into his
Or
house.
maybe we should check and make sure no one's hiding inside.
And you said we would be able to know the footprint of inside? Like the
Yeah, yeah.
Well, Roger, I still think we should go stay with Maria for a while, maybe.
Oh, yeah.
They might be able to protect you better.
I suppose.
I could take
Well,
you.
I think the first thing I need to do is hire some more guards. It's at that point that you kind of like, he kind of looks up and you actually see some bodies from his own guard staff hanging from like the edge of his balconies and his verandas. They've all died. Everyone who was defending his house initially was slain. It wasn't until the town guard came that they started to turn around.
Well, Roger, I hope you clean up, but we got some stuff to do.
Please, I have my own people who can clean it up.
I want to know if that commander knows anything about the footprint, maybe if it's something native to the town.
They've left at this point.
Oh, okay.
All the soldiers have kind of walked off at this point.
Is there like a design, like what is
We
the-
draw it or something?
Yeah.
What's
Maybe
that?
we can ask like a
Like to show it
shoemaker
to
or
somebody?
something.
Sure,
Like-
yeah. So let's see. If I were to draw it on this board here, so you got the normal kind of footprint, like that. The insignia on the bottom of the shoe is just this sort of circle with a line, circle with a line. Okay.
Maybe two of us can go to like the village, and two of us can go ask around about shoe print. Maybe find a shoemaker.
I want to ask Maria.
How's the shoe?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, where you guys
She's
from?
traveled
I'll go to the
Everywhere.
shoemaker.
in the world.
I'll head out towards the farm.
It's fun. Who else is going to the farm? Who else is going to the shoemaker?
I'll go to the shoemaker.
Okay.
Let's
So
go to
you go to the farm? Okay. So you guys kind of consolidate and split.
Ooh! One of you should send like an animal with me. So if something happens, the animal can go back to you.
To the farm.
Yeah, and let you know when I'm in trouble or something.
There wouldn't happen to be any owls around there.
Well, it's
Yes,
morning,
good.
so maybe like
Roll a
a
perception
songbird
check.
or something. Or squirrel.
This one right in your hand.
I was gonna turn it to
9.
Oh, but my passive perception is 14.
Okay, so you talk about, yeah, there's a little blue song, there's a little pack, like a free blue songbirds kind of flying around.
Okay.
So wait, am I going with you? Or?
No, I was going by myself
Oh, by
right now.
yourself.
That's why I said send something with me to go back if I
Okay,
get
so
in
you
trouble.
could go to Maria.
I'll go to Maria.
Okay. So you call out to the bird and they kind of turn around, and one of them turns around and you hear her, she like chirps, like makes a songbird sound. Like Snow White, you know? It comes back and like lands on your finger.
Oh, cute.
So, yes? Yes? Yes?
Oh my god.
Sure you want to send a bird with a cat?
I promise I won't eat it.
My nice kitty friend over there could use some help if you wouldn't mind traveling along with her.
That's a
Oh, you wouldn't
skydiver.
be able to.
I wouldn't be able to just talk to it.
If you see anything strange, you come back and find me.
Roll persuasion check.
Oh. Do I get advantage for it being an animal? Okay, 9.
Minus 1.
-1. Yeah.
It just looks at you, but it's gone. And it flies away.
Dang.
Alright. Well,
It's probably better if 2 people go to the village rather than to the grocery store.
alright. So, who wants to come with me?
Let's go.
Alright.
Okay,
So
so,
you can go
So
to
we'll
Maria.
go.
Yeah, should we do? Yeah. No.
Alright, we'll head to the farm then.
okay, alright, so we'll just go around this way. Actually, we'll go around this way. We'll get to the,
Okay.
to the farmland last.
Okay.
Okay.
Takes longer to travel.
Alright.
Alright, so shoemaker. Go ahead and roll just a general perception check as you kind of walk around looking for a shoemaker. You haven't been in this town before.
17.
17, okay. You walk around, are you looking for more high class or low class?
Does that look high class or low class?
What's up?
Does the shoe print look more high or?
I'd say roll a history check with disadvantage. I'm not too well versed on the history of shoemaking.
Right. You said with disadvantage?
Yeah, so roll twice and take the lower.
Oh. 2.
You're not sure if it's high or low, but it just looks like a shoe print to you.
Okay.
But you have the cutout, right?
It looks higher class. I'm gonna guess.
Okay, sure. So you're gonna stay up in the upper district.
Yeah.
You find with your looking around, you do find the high class cobbler.
Okay.
He's got this nice shop front with these marble pillars. On the sign itself has a shoehorn kind of on it, and it's just called the Cobblers.
Okay.
He's sitting in kind of like knocking away at a little bit of a leather strap that's kind of lining this nice pinstripe shoe. He's kind of putting in little pins to get this leather stripe going down. He's like, oh yes, how can I help you? You need some shoes. Are you wearing shoes?
Yes.
He looks at your shoes. He's judging your shoes.
Hey, these are nice. I'm just going to show him a little drawing sketch I have. Ask him if he's seen any shoes like this or sold any to someone.
Well, I generally Why would you want to know? He's not looking at you. He's just still
It's for the safety of the town order.
For the safety of the town, you're saying? Why? What do you mean?
Well, I don't know if you heard the attack just going on, but
I did cop him.
you didn't hear the sirens?
No, I don't pay attention to that. I'm in upper class. I'm safe.
Well,
They protect me.
a beast just came in. It looks like there was some
They all the people you used to.
mischievous workings behind it. And those are the footprints I found.
Roll persuasion.
Hey. Darn that, that's gonna be -1. 11.
Look, I generally like to keep it confidential. Which nobility's shoes look like. But if you grease my palm, I could do it.
What?
If you
Greased your palm
yeah,
with
if
money?
You, if you pay him, he might kill you.
Well,
And then you can look at it.
I don't have that.
I could use it to you.
I might be able to spare a few coins.
How many?
Depends on the information.
I have the high ground, Anakin. He doesn't say Anakin, but he does say I have the high ground in this situation. So if you want your information, you pay me what you think is necessary, and I'll tell you what I think is necessary. This cobbler is kind of big.
1 gold coin.
Okay, roll a persuasion check with advantage this time.
Ooh, 17.
17.
20!
That's
Alright,
nice.
20!
Nice.
He looks at the coin, clicks in his teeth, and he puts it in his pocket. Oh yeah, that one was pretty memorable to me, because I made it myself. That's a shoe belonging to Roger Cremery.
Son of a biscuit.
But then again, it's
But-
a shapeshifter.
Oh.
But does he also?
Oh wait, we can't.
You're not there, but we can talk at the table. Yeah, no
It
problem.
doesn't match his. Oh,
What if it was the shapeshifter? It would still have the same
right, you said it
shoes.
was
Would
Roger.
it have the same
It was Roger.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's
right.
duplicate.
So we know for a fact it was a guy with
So he switched his
raven
shoes,
tattoo.
right? Because we wouldn't notice it.
What's that?
We wouldn't notice.
Well, no, it was on the bottom of his soles that pattern went in there. So unless you check the bottom of his soles, you
But
would.
why would Roger stay in?
Because what if it was a lot?
Doesn't really remember what the point.
I guess.
It's up
you're
to you.
right.
It's up to you. You could.
Thank you for your information.
You're welcome.
Okay.
He's clinking away at this little leather strap.
I will start writing.
To the ship?
Yeah.
Alright. You're walking, when you get there. What are you going? You're going to Maria.
Yes.
Okay. You walking. It's early morning, the crew's still up. The crew was up when you guys left. They actually were doing defensive stuff when you, and they started to pull away from the dock and they pulled back.
Could I actually do
No.
something on my way there?
Sure, we'll get to that once.
Okay.
Okay. Well, first
Maria's
things first.
running around on the top of the deck and you catch her attention.
Okay. First things
Yes.
first. Not knowing what she just found out. Have you seen this shoe on any of your mercenaries or soldiers?
Bates me? I don't know.
I don't
I'll
know
look
where
at the
your
bottom of the
socks
shoes.
are. And then second thing, where do these things live? I don't know what they're called. I tell her the name now, but do you know where they
I don't think you would remember me, would you?
Oh no. So
No.
she didn't tell me.
Unless you told him.
You could show her the
Oh yeah.
thing.
Where does the animal with this hide live?
Manticore? Yeah, they live up on the mountain. You know, why did they be so close? I don't understand. I thought this might have been a siege or some sort of natural disaster. You mean to say that the alarm was for this?
That is true. That is what it
The hood looks really good, honestly.
was.
I'm glad you guys got rid of it, honestly. The town guard are kind of crappy here, you know?
And how skilled would you have to be able to take one of the babies from these monstrosities?
What do you mean?
How could one?
Are you gonna take a baby from us?
No, but that is the reason it attacks. Someone hit the baby, or took the baby away from it and thought it was here.
You're very skilled.
very skilled.
impressively skilled. They don't live alone. They live in nests.
Would
Generally
a
about
sheep-
5 to 6.
Would a shapeshifter be able to take on this one?
Not that far, no. They're pretty sneaky though.
Would they be able to shapeshift into a baby?
They have to. The shapeshifters generally maintain their human form,
Oh.
their human shape. I can't believe. I didn't think anything could go into a nest of manticores. They live up in the mountains over there, and she points out to the mountain range that's, about off in the horizon. Yeah, they usually live in nests of 6 to 7. I'm surprised all of them didn't come. I'm glad.
Me too. I guess last question would be: is your husband up in the same mountains area, not within this?
He was off on a bounty. I just saw the vision.
Okay.
I don't know where he went.
I have no further questions.
At that point, you're right. What else did you want to hit on the way there?
I want you to eat something.
Oh, I'm sure. You grab a bite to eat, shawarma to go.
Yeah. Well,
And salad to go.
yeah.
Some you get some you get like a moss bowl.
Okay.
It's like a moss bowl with seaweed in it.
It's like the tofu.
It's like a little poke bowl, poke bowl without the fish.
Alright.
And as you're walking, you do pull up at the end of that conversation. Eritrea walks up at the end of that conversation.
Oh, I don't know. I have not very useful information, but other than that, whoever took the baby is actually very skilled, so it's probably not Roger.
Well, I did find out that the shoe design belonged to Roger.
Interesting.
So it could be the shapeshifter.
Would
Probably
that
not
be
Roger with his lack of skill
being scared of everything?
Except for graceful.
You guys are just constantly trashing out
I feel like if Roger came upon a nest
fell
of
off
thieves,
a
oh, they literally
He just fell off randomly.
So there being so many, I think Roger would just cry. Yeah. Other than that, I don't have any more useful information.
Okay, do you want to catch up with the others or make our way to Roger?
Did you ask the shoemaker what the insignia was for? No.
Might not have told you.
Huh?
Might not have
you
told you
might.
anyways.
I'll give him all my gold.
He'll take it.
Yeah, I guess let's go back to the farm and make sure they're doing okay.
You too.
We're walking
You
along.
guys walk along. You leave the city walls. You walk out again through a gate, a balcony gate, hanging gardens. Every now and then, the little bluebird kind of circles around your head, and kind of runs back and somewhere up into the trees.
Oh.
You kind of walk into this smaller community. The buildings aren't made from the same sandstone. They're just almost like lean-to tents, but they're well formed. They're permanent in their location. And off to the north, there is a steppe farmland as it raises, kind of like a rice paddy sort of. You see people working on the farms. There's a small setup. There is one setup building. It has a tankard on it. Seems to be a pub of some sort. It says on the top, it says Beaumont's Bazaar Bar.
Want to there?
Where do you want to go to try and figure out where this gardener lived?
Yeah, we might as well. That's where all the townspeople commute.
Looks
They
like
might
a
know
happy
something there.
place.
Yeah.
It is actually bustling.
Oh!
Oh wow, yeah.
We're gonna
That's,
get good info there.
So,
Alright, we're walking.
You walk into Beaumont's and it's full of people who are all sitting in there eating breakfast before their shifts on the farm. They're eating these big, farmers' breakfasts, drinking a tankard of ale with it, and there's people chatting, and some guys playing darts, and he has only one eye, and you do see at the head of the establishment behind the bar a 10-foot tall copper dragonborn.
Oh.
This is a dragonborn is just a dragon man, basically. Copper, kind of like your masters in there. He's just like bustling, grabbing. He's like, yeah, oh, you over there? And he just like slides down a cup to some guy, catches it. And it's like super like like the bar in Sleeping Beauty or Beauty and the Beast.
Oh,
You know,
sure.
Oh, I just
Gaston's bar or whatever.
Yeah,
It's just like really bustling. Everything's happening all at once.
Okay. What do you think? Should we split up and try to get some info, or see if anybody knows? Well, do you know what we're looking for?
No, I don't know what we're looking for.
Okay, I bet.
What are we looking
You would know. You were there.
The
When,
shoe, right? Or not?
you would. He was there when you guys found out that Nancy, the gardener, lived here.
On the
He was
garden.
there
Yeah.
when you got that information.
Yeah. Was he the one with the tattoo?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Say less. Okay. Yeah, we could either. We might interview more people if we split up in this tavern. Just in the tavern.
Alright, I'm going to take the dirt.
What's that?
I'm going to go talk to the guy with the darts.
Oh, the eyeless guy? Sure. The one-eyed Jim?
Yep, I'm walking over there.
I'm going to scout for anybody. So this gardener is. Dang, I should have got my info.
Well, who are you going to?
Well, who would I be looking for? Like, what does he do?
You know that he lives in this community. Maybe farms in this community. You don't know too much about him other than he was gardener for
And that's. And he betrayed Roger or something?
yeah, he basically tried to trick him.
Oh, for
His
money.
name was
That's
From
right.
Andy.
That's right.
Yep.
His name was Ansi. He had a raven tattoo, that's what you know.
Okay, so based on the crew's description, I'm looking for anybody that might fit him, maybe by chance?
Sure.
Probably
Go
not.
ahead and roll a perception check.
Four.
You've lived in a monastery for a lot of your life since you were a child,
People look the same.
and they all kind of like you're not too keen or not too established in society as a general whole, and especially not here. You just can't really tell if anyone looks like they might be a farmer versus a barmaid or other than the uniform, you know.
Sure. So I might have to try to talk to somebody who I have common ground with.
use the intimidation slap.
I'm gonna try to talk to the bar. I'm gonna order a beer in Giordano.
Okay. So you walk up to the bar. Beaumont is. You would assume that this copper dragon is like, hey, welcome to Beaumont's. What do you need?
I was wondering that I enjoyed Giordano for
Oh, you say in Draconic?
Yeah, to
Okay.
see how he responds.
Sure. He's like, in Draconic back. He's like, I like how you talk. You want a beer?
Yes, please. And I was wondering if I could get some information out your bounty hunter.
Bounty hunter. Okay. Yeah. Hold on one moment, and he kind of pulls the beer in a big tanker, drops it on. That'll be free for the Draconic. Hold on 1 second. I have some other people to take care of for a moment. And he kind of walks off. He's like, I'll be back though. And he walks off to the edge of the bar. He starts doing other stuff. We'll get to the one-eyed man. He's like, he's old. He's old, super like leather skin. We're talking like he's probably like he looks like a biker, you know. He's got this long white beard. He seems to be human. He's like, line it up. What do you say to him?
I'm gonna go up to him and I'm gonna tap him on the shoulder and he's like, hello, strange man.
What you got me? He has no teeth.
And I'm gonna be like, ooh. I mean, hello, sir.
Don't call me that either.
Oh. Well, then what should I call you?
One-eyed Jim.
One-eyed Jim. Alright.
He throws it and totally misses.
Well, One-eyed Jim is kind of bad at this game.
I don't think you can do better. Throws another dart, misses again.
Is that a challenge, One-eyed Jim?
What's enough for me? These are my darts, my board.
Well, you see here, I'm here looking for somebody.
You want a city folk? You don't look it.
I'm not from a city, per se.
Never seen a cat person.
Hey, we're pretty cool. Find more of us. Yeah.
Okay.
We're kind of interesting people.
I suppose. Can I beg for it? beginning.
His name is Anson. I'm looking for him.
Never heard of him.
Are you sure? I hear he lives around here.
He lives around here. What does he look like?
A guy. He's got a tattoo.
He got a tattoo. What kind of tattoo?
Raven tattoo.
Raven tattoo, sir.
Yes, it's a raven tattoo.
You like this one? And he pulls aside his shirt and reveals a raven tattoo.
Is your name Nancy?
No, my name is not Nancy. My name's One-Eyed Jim. I thought I told you that.
So, do a lot of people have raven tattoos around here?
No, just the farm over there. That way.
So, some people do.
Yeah.
Only on that farm.
Yeah, yes. If you work for them, you get a tattoo.
And you've never heard of Ansi?
No, they come and go. It's migrant.
Man.
I do my work and I leave and I play darts. Right here.
Interesting. Alright, Elaine. And then I leave. And I go to the bar.
Alright, so Beaumont does come back to you eventually. So what was it? Oh wait, wrong voice. I'm doing Jim's voice again. It's like, so what was it that you wanted? You said you were bounty hunter, yes? And he's talking to Draconic as you walk up. They're talking to Draconic to each other.
Yes, I'm bounty hunter, but I'm really here to bring peace to this village, and I can really use your insight of your knowledge. I assume you've been around this land for many years.
I've been around, yes.
What can you tell me about individuals with raven tattoos?
I don't know, they work at Paul's farm up in the corner. All of them.
They're all farmers at that?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Thank you very much for the information. Is there anything out of the ordinary that you noticed from that farmer? Anyone resembling those tattoos?
Well, there was, not often do they get hired for outside work.
What
one
kind of outside work? Do you know?
Yeah, one of them was coming in bragging that he got hired by a nobleman. Not often, that's not common. His name was Ansi, I think.
Right. Has he been in... When's the last time you've seen Ansi?
He was in yesterday.
Yesterday. Did he say where he was going by chance?
Well, he's going to his house.
Do you know where his house is by chance?
Yeah, it's right down the street.
Thank you very much.
So what do you say?
So... He said that I got the location of Ansi. Any luck with the one-eyed
That guy over there, he was no help at all. He
Man.
did tell me about the raven tattoos, though.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I kind of want to go play darts with him. I want to go.
Huh?
He was weird. You want to pet on first.
Some people are into that.
Alright, so which way did you say this house was?
Right over there.
Alright. You want to move away?
How long will it take us to get there?
Well, see, you're going down to the right and it's 4 houses down, or 4 huts down, because there's no houses ever.
Okay.
6 minutes walk,
Okay.
maybe.
Oh, wow. Thank you very kindly, sir. For your information, I'll come back and help you with this mess you got here in this
Big mess.
it just seems you could use some help. I want from my assistance,
Oh, of course.
Of course.
Right.
And as we're leaving, I'll say, bye, Jim!
By what?
Bye, Jim!
My paper.
I think our best plan leaving this bar would be to stealthily,
Did you guys leave the bar?
Yeah,
Alright.
As you guys exited, you guys walked up and kind of intersected. You guys walked up to the main area, but you do see them walk out of this established building.
Drinking in the morning, huh?
all in a day's work. You guys find anything useful?
Other than that, whoever took the baby and killed it was extremely skilled. No, not really. Also, if we even try to figure out where what's it called again?
What's what?
Manticore?
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 Manticore. They live in nests, so we would have to face a lot of them.
I found out that Roger has nuts and bolts.
you guys find anything useful?
Well,
Yes.
yeah, we did. we
Turns out some people around here have had raven tattoos, not just Nancy. It's all the people who work on that farm over there. All seem to have it.
I found out that they also do a lot of outside work at that farm. Unknown, but not just farming. Also know the location of Antsy. Yeah. He's in that house, like right down there, the blue one.
Do we want to be discreet about this, or are we just knocking on the door?
I think we
I
should
might
at
just go
least.
knock on the door.
Okay.
We should peep the scenes. Have a set up.
I'll go around
perimeter.
the back. Yeah.
So I was thinking. Are you knocking on the door?
Sure.
Okay. And where you?
On the roof.
Above the door, just like.
Did you see Wolverine in Japan?
Oh, yeah.
You're like the guy on the roof like watching. Yeah. And are you walking to the front door? Or are you walking around like she is?
Okay, I'm gonna hide and be with the front door.
Okay. Like if anything wrong with it, front. Okay. You. You knock on the door. It's open.
I want to like.
You say hello. You look in. There's a main room. There's a couple of side rooms. The main room that has no furniture. Completely empty. There doesn't seem to be anybody in the house though, as far as you can see.
I want to like peek back up. There's a big empty room, guys. It doesn't look like anybody's here. Should I go in?
Is it
I'll
dark?
come in and search with you.
You guys stay outside and we'll go in and look?
We'll do.
Or, yeah?
Well, yeah,
Yes,
if
keep
something
me watch.
terrifying happens.
Wait, actually. Oh wait.
Send a squirrel.
Is that?
I'm sure we'll hear any yelling. I'll stay on the roof. Kind of gets me mad. Better
I can send.
Alright. I like
Wait,
that.
is it dark or is it
It is
Well, it's morning, so it's like.
It's morning. There's no candles lit inside there, so.
Wait, yeah, they don't have witches.
We have dark
Just
vision
flip the
though.
light switch.
We have dark
Oh, yeah.
vision.
No, alright, yeah, okay, go ahead.
Before I go in though, I want to pull one of my daggers.
Dagger.
Yep.
Are you going in with? Did you say?
Yeah, I'm gonna follow her. Like, and get her 6, you know.
Okay. You guys walk in, and you're in a main sort of like a foyer room, like just there's a hearth, there's a place to there's nothing, there's nothing, there's a little bit of scraps on the floor like from eating, like right at the base of the hearth, but there's no furniture, nothing on the walls. There's a way off to the side there that leads to when you kind of look, it's a chamber pot. There's another way off to the side, and that is a door. If you want to open that door,
Yeah.
you're gonna just quickly open
Yeah,
I'm gonna open it slowly and kind of
walk towards the
it.
door.
Roll a stealth.
My turn.
22.
Nice. Got a sound. You find what's in there I can only describe it as like an office. Garish decor. Way above the means of this house. There's this nice rug on the floor. There's this ivory, almost like a mahogany desk, with papers all over, and there's a chair, and there's like a bull's head on the wall. Another side has these cool like these 2 cross blades, cutlasses that have the blade itself is like made of jade. Lots of just lots of little things in this room. Little knickknacks, there's a whole rack with different types of clothing. There's a whole rack with different types of holy symbols. There's a whole rack of actually shelf with just like gold pieces and like things collected, maybe scavenged from people's pockets.
I want to start looking through that.
And through the Chinese?
Yep.
Okay.
As she's doing that, can I throw a perception check to check like the perimeter as far
Sure.
as I can?
Yeah, go Go ahead and you roll investigation and you roll perception.
Can I enter
7.
the same room as her?
Yeah, of course. 7.
Minus
19. Okay, 7. You find in total from this shelf of scavenged things, you find about 70 gold pieces.
Wow. Okay.
You find a couple lockets. Just like things that people send you, like a belt, like 3 or 4 belts. That's about it though for now. And perimeter, it's a busy morning in this little farm town. There's people walking by. No one really catches your eye though, as a threat or coming towards his house. Roll a stealth check. You're on top of a house.
Is there any like
Jump on being big now.
books or papers, like documents?
Yeah, on the desk there is, yeah.
Can I like look through them?
Sure. Roll one more investigation.
While she's looking through them, can I raid the Ember
Yes!
swords or whatever?
Sure.
18.
18. Okay. As you go to try and pull the swords off, they will not pull off. They're racketed down.
That would have been nice.
12 for. Oh.
Stealth check.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
And I'd go help her sort through the office papers.
You go and roll again. Advantage. No, advantage.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But if it's higher, it's good.
8.
Okay, 18 still.
Yep.
Alright. You kind of look through this desk, you find some ledgers and some documents of land ownership. You find that there's deeds of land ownership and the maps that come with that. You see that whoever owns this or has this desk owns like probably somewhere in the realm of like 70% of the land surrounding the city,
Oh wow.
as well as the area that is the mine is covered by. You find a book that has written documents that show that that would prove that Roger Fenry's business is being run by this book partially. It's fresh.
Whoa.
Only about, I'd say, probably.
Can I take the book?
Sure, yeah.
Okay.
You have a book of a ledger of spice trades and salt trades as well. That's what you find on the desk.
Can I look outside for like footprints or?
We'll survival check.
Is that your minus 1?
Survival's wisdom, I think.
9.
9. Okay. You don't really see any footprint. Like, there's just a lot of footprints. Like,
Okay.
this is a well-traveled place around this town. The roads are all mud, so they're just really stuck together.
With the information I got from the bartender, I suspect now that they're definitely doing more than just farming, and if there's more people involved, I'm trying to like look for anything like suspicious, like hidden.
Okay. Roll a investigation check.
So I'm assuming this farmland. Gross.
Pretty sure that's 3. 1.
1. Okay. As you investigate, you don't find anything hidden, really. What else did you want to do?
This was the only room in the house?
Only other room besides the main room. Could have
The
been a
chamber
med.
pod.
Yeah, in the chamber pot, yeah.
I'll open the chamber pod for shits and giggles.
For shit to do.
Right there.
You walk over and look at there's no shit in
Okay, an ordinary chamber pod. Good. I think we have all the information.
That would be solid. No,
As you're up there, and every now and then a farmer like, I'm serious. every now and then, see someone like walking by, like look up at you, make this weird face, and just like walk away. Like they just like
Maybe you should become
strange
a bird.
hooded figure standing on top of Nancy's house.
Shit. So I can't fly.
One guy kind of walks up.
Well,
Hey fella, what you doing up there?
I'm roofer.
What reception check? Reception check. Right.
12 plus 4, 16.
16. Okay. You can do his own business.
Can I use wild shape
Sure. How many times can you use it before a long rest?
before long rest?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Let's see if my magic will let me open up to the same page.
So besides the desk and the shiny things,
Oh,
You have to.
would you look at that? Again, how am I doing
Does
this?
that have to do with my druid circle at all, or just being a druid?
Wild shape,
Any ideas?
you can use this feature twice.
Twice.
I don't know if there's more things in this room.
Oh,
When I
wait,
look
what's
at it.
that?
Besides the desk and the shiny things, is there anything else in the room?
Probably not.
Roll an investigation check.
Let's see.
Well, it's still in the.
Well, you're kind of walking.
I'll say that.
You walk over to the other side because you see something shiny, and then you step on the carpet and you hear. Like you step on kind of a less solid ground underneath the carpet.
Alright, so I want to move the carpet away.
You kind of push the carpet aside, and you see a trap.
We should tell the other two. We should tell them.
Okay, let's go get them. Alright,
I'm
let's
not
run
gonna use
outside.
the wild shape. I'm just gonna get out there.
Alright,
You
we
can
run
like hit it
outside.
with a fake hammer. And it's like, get off the They come outside.
Or
They're like,
you could go in and I could tell them to come inside. I don't know. It doesn't. That seems unnecessary. No.
I don't think I should go by myself.
No, cheeky trap door.
Yeah.
four people on the creepy
Alright.
trap.
Run outside.
Okay. You see them. They're still watching.
Alright, guys. We got something.
We're gonna have to have you come in. We found something crazy. Need help.
And also, I got this book. So it turns out Roger might have something to do with this area. Turns out he might actually own a lot of this land, including the mines. So,
Real Roger.
It could be a
Real
shapeshifter forging his
I'm
signature.
thinking it might be real Roger.
I don't know.
Real Roger was away for 7
And
years.
We found all
Fake
those
one
different
was-
clothings
Everything.
inside.
But this book is a spice trading ledger. Roger deals in spice trading.
You
But they
know-
did say that the business was booming while he was still gone.
You do know that from looking at the ledger is only 7 days old.
Oh. Okay, yeah. Yeah, it might be fake Roger.
And just so you know, these stripes on the ground, he could have eaten this meal recently. He could be nearby.
Yeah, but we found a trap door. We should maybe check it out.
Leading into the floor.
Should maybe one of us stay and watch the
The entrance of
Or
the
at
door.
least stay in the little room, the office area.
I don't know if one of us stays. I don't know if you want to stay in the house because then.
Well,
Yeah.
stay in the house so they can warn them.
So maybe
or cover
then.
up the trapdoor.
But
yeah,
if
they could
Nancy-
get overpowered.
But if
inside.
Nancy gets home,
So
that
2 and
one
2
person's
again?
definitely not going to be able to take on Nancy if he was able to take
They
away the
could
baby.
hire outside after warning. I don't know.
So 2 and 2 again.
We
2 of
wouldn't
us
be
go, 2
able
of us
to-
stay.
Well, we could do 3 going there and Eritrea and
Animal form
hopefully
hive or
send
something.
some animal. And then
Like a mouse or something. Something
Mouse.
small.
oh wait, is there a
Or-
wild shape?
Oh, you can watch it to a mouse and just
You could
like,
watch it into a
hide
mouse.
in my pocket.
You can?
Sure, yeah, there's a mouse. It could be I'm sure it's not any more than one. A CR1 mouse would be a pretty scary mouse.
Would a mouse fit inside through the creek?
Unfortunately, our camera died unnoticed at this point, so let me fill you in. Before being able to open the trapdoor, the rug covering seemed to come to life and fully wrap itself around Juniper. The two Shimtars on the wall sprung into an attack. As the members desperately tried releasing Juniper, Gumiho transformed into a bear. a very slow bear, and kept the Shimtars at bay as Librai and Eritrea in boar form tried freeing Juniper. After an intense battle, Juniper was finally freed, and the Shimtars were destroyed. Do they now enter the trap door? To be continued.